Hello, what up, Twitch World? That's alright. It's fine, you're doing what I asked you to do. As you as you can see, we've got two lovely guests with us who I will introduce shortly. Just want to take a quick moment to do some front of house things. Where we're doing the chat show, no sound alert redeems will work, and so please don't waste your channel points on them because apparently they're non-refundable. And also, we will try. Where I'll be talking to people, I will try my best to reply to chat in chat, but I won't do it sort of audibly, so to speak. Yeah, so that's really cool. We're going to have a lovely time talking to these wonderful people who have been nice enough to come join me. So all that we've got to do now is cue the theme tune.
Everybody come on down, and everybody gather round. We're gonna hang with some friends tonight. We're gonna hang with some friends, alright. It will be a real good time. The company here is sublime. We're gonna hang with some friends, alright. We're gonna hang with some friends tonight. So make sure that you spread the wholesome wherever you may go. So make sure that you spread the wholesome, 'cause it's a second-hand chat show.
Okay, so I have with me, joining me today, is the wonderful and amazing Ivory Gale, who's on this side. Ivory, how you doing? Okay, and I also have the lovely Sydney. Sid, how you doing? Oh, I know I've just ruined the cameras as well. I'm just gonna turn people up a second.
I'm doing great, and I will listen for. Okay, I think it's coming through.
Awesome.
Pretty good. I know you were wondering about that.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Audio's doing good then. Right. Before we start, I have on my channel the channel redeem where people can get a cocktail made based on their personality. Obviously, I can't give you guys that redeem for free, but what I like to do for my chat show is take one ingredient based on all of you to sort of make a chat show cocktail. Some of these have been really nice, and some of them where I'm just taking ingredients based on your personalities have been not mixed well and been really awful. Sneaky Hippo, thank you for getting over here and joining in the fun. Much appreciated. So yeah, so Sid, I took for you. I like your really like easygoing and laid back attitude, and that's sort of what I focused on. So I took like a really nice, easy to drink sort of drink. And for people who know me, like my spirit of choice is rum. So I just went for like a really nice sort of standard rum. So I've gone for like a Cockspur spiced rum. It's just a nice, easy, smooth, easy to drink. Like you, very easy to get along with.
Thanks.
And then I thought, Ivory, you were harder to place as a drink. So what I did was I went into the local supermarket. I looked at all the looked at all the spirits I could find, and just went, which one of these says Disney Magic to me? And I found a raspberry lemonade liqueur, which was like a bright red liquid in a really cool bottle. And then so I've got those two together, just so it isn't two really strong things that will absolutely just destroy me. I have topped it up with lemonade to make it a bit more palatable. But then to really add to the Disney magic, I've added sugar glitter to it, so it sparkles. It's really cool. Like, and because it's you guys, I've made it in my Moogle mug.
Oh, I love that.
So
Adorable.
So this was a
I need to
spiced
see
rum,
this sparkle though.
a raspberry lemonade, and then
it's spiced.
sparkle.
It's spiced rum, raspberry lemonade flavored liqueur, and then regular lemonade just to fill the mug. And then I've
That
added
sounds like a really fancy Long Island almost.
almost. I mean, I think like Long Island iced teas usually have sort of about 5 different spirits in it, so I guess
Yeah,
it's
it's much more ridiculous. I just mean more like flavor palette.
yeah, it's not bad actually. I was really worried about mixing rum, and I think it's a gin liqueur, but it's all right. It's good.
Tastes good as a liquor.
That was your
That's
first
it.
time tasting it. Just
Yeah. Oh yeah. I always taste it for the first time on stream. So, yeah, and it is definitely quite strong. It will but I could drink those. That's a nice drink, and I'm gonna call that one Sydney's Gale.
Love that.
Yeah, it's it because it like a strong wind, it will knock you down.
And air clan for elementality.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, so that works.
that works out well. Yeah.
Sydney's scale is not ready. Like Zelda.
Kind of love it. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean, I will add it as always in when we finish today. I'll add it to the bar section in my Discord. So it will be there with a nice photo where you can see the sparkles better. It's hard for me to point it at my laptop without spilling it everywhere.
Awesome.
So
Right, yeah, don't want that.
no. But there is the Discord link if people want it. If it works, because half the time it doesn't. Right, so we've got a couple of little interviews to start off the show, just to get you an idea of like getting you to know my guests a little better, because I already know them and know they're wonderful, and it would be nice if you all got to know them too. So Ivory, let's start with you, if that's all right.
Sure. What are we doing here?
I'm just going to ask you some questions. It's going to be fine. It's okay.
Sure.
Relatively. I mean, nobody's died yet. Okay, so you've been playing through the Kingdom Hearts recently on a stream.
I have.
You have. And you were deceived in thinking it was the ending.
I was, actually. I was, yeah. No,
Yeah.
you're not wrong.
Alright. But no, it's a series that's a really big commitment to get into, and I was just wondering how you're finding it so far, and do you think you'll go on to play the whole series, or do you think the first game has been enough for you?
That's a good question.
Thanks.
I think I will.
Okay.
At least the next. At least the next one.
Yeah.
I'll play this one and then I'll do the next one, which I don't know what it is. All the numbers are weird.
Oh, I was going to say, by the next one, do you mean Kingdom Hearts 2, or do you mean, is it Chain of Memories is the next one chronologically? Because there's 2 games between 1 and 2.
Chronologically.
But
The
that's
second one's really
obnoxious.
good. I do recommend that one.
So you don't just go from 1 to 2.
No.
There's
So
fillers?
the reason people think it's so hard and so complicated to understand is because it's really difficult to play every game, because it was, the first one was a PS2 game, and then there was a DS game, or Game Boy Advance, or whatever the Nintendo was at that time, and then there's something else, and then there was Kingdom Hearts 2, which was the next PS2 game. But basically it's all on different platforms, on different consoles, all over the place, and they all follow on, which is why everyone is really confused about whatever is happening at any time. But I am led to believe if you do actually play literally every single game, which includes all the mobile games and all like everything, it does make sense. It's just hard to follow.
Okay. I don't know. I'm going to probably at least play the next sub tier that's in. One of my viewers very graciously bullied me into this by buying me the whole whatever set. It was like, it's like 1 something.
1.5 and 2.5.
Yeah. And it's got like 5 games in it.
Yes. Yeah, it's got.
So I was just gonna play the next one down. So I don't know.
Okay, that's Chain of
I don't know
Memories.
what that is.
Or that's the remake of Chain of Memories, yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
That one is quite good, but the battle mechanics are very different, just to give you a heads up.
Awesome.
So-
I will say, looking at chat, they're saying I'm still a little low.
Oh,
I don't know if that's a me thing or not.
you are as
Second
loud
one is
as
really good.
you are as loud as I can make you, but I can turn down the background music, if that helps.
Kingdom Hearts 2, the actual 2, is good though. So
Well, that's good to know.
Yes. I mean, they're all good in their own way. It's just, like I say, it's a very big commitment, because it isn't just Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3. It's about 8, 9, 10 games or whatever at this point.
Yeah, I'm a as loud as I can make myself do.
Okay. Well, like I said, I've turned
Maybe a
I've
little
turned
closer.
the background music down, so hopefully that helps a bit.
I believe in us.
Yes, we can do it. If not, we'll just have to start shouting at each other. But not. Right.
Yeah.
Cool. So you also play Final Fantasy XIV on stream, and you encourage your community, regardless of their level and experience, to join in for raids and play with you and stuff. And I just wanted to know how important it is for you to have a game that you play with your community and a game you can bring new people to.
How important is that?
Yeah.
Oofda. That's a good question. You're bringing out bangers today, my dude.
Thank you.
Um,
It's not my first radio.
this is true. It didn't start that way. It definitely was more. Honestly, I have a really bad case of consistent and persistent FOMO.
Yeah.
And so what would happen is my my brother and my husband have been gamers since forever.
Yes.
And so they would play video games and I wouldn't get to hang out. And my brother is probably like the second most important human on the planet to me outside of my husband.
Yeah.
And like maybe my mother. He might even be higher than my mom, so if my mom's watching, I'm really sorry. But so like the two most important people in my life are bonding a lot because they're gamers. And
Well, that's
they all
good.
really play games a lot. Well, no, it's great, except I got to sit on the sidelines. I felt like the little girl in all the cartoons that wants to come and play in the boys' playhouse, but they always pull up the rope ladder before she can join, right?
Yep.
And they never did this maliciously. So I have tried throughout the years to play games with them. I've played League and I hated it. I played Killing Floor, which was actually a lot of fun. I do like that, but that was hard to get into because I'm not a scary person.
Yeah.
And zombies freak me out.
Right.
So I did that. We would play, what's that other one? Grand Theft Auto. They tried to get me into WoW, and I really tried with WoW. I think I gave WoW a good couple of months. And I was like, I can't do this, guys. This game is garbage, in my personal opinion. Not for other people, but for me. I was like, I don't understand the mechanics. I'm not learning well. You guys are all out leveling me. I can't keep up. Yada, 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 right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Final Fantasy was just supposed to be another one of those type of games. And my husband tried to get me to play for a hot minute. And I said, no, because you're going to ditch me like you've ditched me in every other game we've ever played. Like, you're going to out-level me. You're going to outperform me. You're not going to stick around to help me grow because I'm slow and I haven't been playing MMOs since I was 12. So, no, I'm not going to play it. Then, one day, I go into his office to find out what he wanted for dinner or something. I don't remember. And I go to open the door, and all of a sudden, I hear this very crackly voice screech, "Go, don't come in here!" I was like, "What is happening?" And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "Please, I don't want you to see me like this." And I was like, "Okay." So weird, but I respected him for it. So I left, and he comes out. His eyes are bloodshot. He's got tear stains down his face, and he was like, "You have to play this game. You don't understand." His voice is all crackling and everything. I was like, "What is your problem? The man doesn't cry." So I was like, "Why are you so upset?" And he was like, "You don't understand. You have to play this game. Okay, please, just, I promise you. I can level with you. It's not the same, like, wow, it's totally different. Like, it'll be great." And I was like, "Okay, fine." So I started playing. And then I became addicted. It had nothing to do with the community. It had nothing to do with making friends. It had everything to do with the fact that my husband swore up and down he would play this game with me. So I literally played it because I just wanted to hang out with my hubby.
Yeah.
And then my brother was playing, so I got to hang out with my brother. And then from there, I became psychotically addicted and was like, "This story's really good. I should stream it." And he's like, "Yeah, you should stream it." And I was like, "Okay." So we started streaming it, and then I just got... it was worse and worse and worse of an addiction to the point where it was like, everybody needs to play. Y'all need it. It's easy. Like, it's awesome. I think the reason I love it so much and I love sharing it with others is, first of all, the story's really good. So if you're a story-based person, be it in a game, movies, books, etc., you're going to love this. If you're an MMO person, it's got MMO things. Now, I've heard it's not as great as some other MMOs, but that's not the point. This is a full package deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's so, I'm not a gamer. Like, at my core, I'm not a gamer. I'm an artist. So for me to come in and play this game and actually be able to pick it up and be excited to learn mechanics, like I actually get stoked when I get a rotation right and whatnot. Like for somebody who's not a gamer to be able to come in and pick up a game like that, and I've struggled in the past, like I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I love telling people to play this game, is because not only can you hang out with friends, and it's very easy, and you can do things that have nothing to do with the story with friends. Like we go clubbing. Who knew you could go clubbing in a video game? And it's like not always dirty, by the way. It's not always weird. Like sometimes it's just fun. I think a girlfriend and I, we went to a 1940s or like a 1950s. It was greaser night. And so everyone was dressed up in 1950s costumes in a video game about fantasy stuff. I was like, what is this? So I just think it's a great way that you can have, especially when the pandemic hit and everything, that you can have a community and you can have fun with your friends and you can meet new people. A lot of the Final Fantasy community is so receptive to people, that it just kind of became a part of me, and it wasn't intentional. There was no purpose in it. So I guess the importance, to like very longly answer your question, the importance of it is huge, but that's not how it started. It grew its importance in and of itself, if
Sure.
that makes sense.
I guess that's the sign of a very good game, really. And
Humbly non-biased opinion, sure.
yeah, I mean, you're not the only person to say so. We'll get onto it, I'm sure. But also, please don't apologize about having a long answer, because genuinely, my favorite thing in the whole world is listening to people talk about things they're passionate about. So the more you want to shout about, the more I will love it.
I can kind of imagine what he might have been crying about.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, wait.
In
Can
the
we,
story.
sorry, can we take a guess then, Sid? What do you think he was crying about? Is he here? Like,
Oh,
It
well,
was
don't-
probably something to do with Shadowbringers.
no.
No?
Actually,
Oh,
no, actually.
oh.
Years was I'm pretty certain it was the monumental moment in Stormblood. I think that was the first set of
Stormblood.
tears. Yeah. I'll DM you.
Okay.
Okay.
Without the
yeah.
Spoilers to anybody who's behind.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You'll laugh. You'll laugh. That's why I laugh. You shouldn't be crying right here.
So finally, I wanted to ask you, and this comes back to you, I guess, what you were just saying about you being an artist at core. But you've talked about on stream how you wanted to be a singer, which you totally could, by the way, because your voice is incredible. Like anyone who's heard Ivory sing, she has pipes on her. My God, like genuinely. But I wanted to know, how is it for you being able to bring your singing into streams, because you have song redeems and like you do karaoke things and. How's-
I mean, for me, it's kind of like the closest thing of being able to be a professional performer without
Being one.
being one.
Yeah.
You know, and there's always that weird itty bitty tiny fear of like getting hit with a DMCA or something like that, which is why I've never really done anything on YouTube. I don't really understand how people do that. I don't know if it's because
No.
they don't monetize or if they I don't believe that everybody on YouTube has taken the proper action to go and get a license permit to do that kind of stuff.
No, I'm sure they haven't.
No, but there's always that small fear in the back of my mind because I do have a business and this is my living. So I toe that line with Twitch because I'm like, worst case, generally speaking, they'll hit me with a muted VOD. Worst case, or you'll get one slap on the wrist and then you never do it again.
Yeah, or like you know, really severe, you might have to delete the VOD or something, as opposed to yeah.
So far, the hits with Twitch aren't as damning. Not to say that they couldn't be. Like, you know, a lot of people, we shrug off the DMCA like whatever, but at the end of the day, it is a real thing. It is a real thing that legally can affect you.
I think that I see a lot of people, certainly recently, playing music on their streams. I understand that I have music playing at the moment, but this is music made for my chat show. Like, you know, but I've seen a lot of people in the last couple of months started up playing like all proper songs and stuff on their streams, and I'm sort of, I don't know, it makes me feel nervous for them, like.
Right, and I mean there's like some slapstick level throw it all together workarounds. So like I've even done that to an extent, but it doesn't record to the VOD. So if
Yeah.
you get hit, you're gonna get hit because you were live. They caught you while you were live. They
Mm.
won't get you with the VOD. It's still not technically right. Like at the end of the day, it's not technically right. So me technically singing karaoke on stream is not technically kosher from a legal standpoint. But you know, I know more than enough people who go over the speed limit on the freeway. So
Well, yeah.
we all have our vices, you know, it happens. But no, I really love stage and I really love singing and I miss performing. And it's funny, you would think now that I get to create content full time that maybe I'd go take on like a show or something. I'd go audition, and my memory's just not as good as it used to be. So the idea of memorizing lines terrifies me. So I think it'd be really cool if one day we got to a point where I could hire somebody to write for me and I could release my own stuff. I think that'd be awesome. But if it doesn't, like, Twitch kind of like scratches that itch.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
I mean, you know, just spitballing. I have a creative writing degree and I write songs all the time, but...
Oh, hi, hello. I didn't
Hi,
know that.
yeah.
Hi, my name's Abigail. It's
Hi,
nice to meet
hi,
you.
Chris. How nice. Okay.
But yeah, I'm always willing to work with anybody if they ever wanted to. I know a couple of people who make music too. It's just not something that I've ever been. It's like a deep passion, but it's just such an unstable industry that I never pursued it. And now that I'm older, like I'm married to my best friend, the idea of that life just feels like it would be hard to be away from my husband and my family and stuff.
Sure, definitely.
Now, when I was younger, that's, you know, that was all the rage, you know, you want to be running around doing crazy cool shit. And now I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. It's comfortable at home.
So, yeah.
Who wants to go sleep in a van every night? And
No.
yeah. Awesome. Do you have a question you would like to ask me while you're here?
I do. I wrote it down.
Oh.
Took me entirely too long to figure out, but I got one. Okay. If you could have coffee with any historical figure, who would you choose and why?
Any historical figure? I don't know. Suddenly I can't think of any people from history at all. Oh man. This is also so much of a bigger question than people normally ask.
Well, I figure it's your stream. Most of these people already know you.
That's true.
Let's dig a little deeper.
Historical figure. Maybe, like, I don't know. Maybe just like some. I mean, again, I'm quite like musically focused. Maybe just some like really cool of like music, like people who aren't around anymore. Like, I mean, I don't know. I sort of, when I say that, like what springs to my mind is maybe like it would be really interesting to ask like maybe like John Lennon what it was like to do the Beatles, but then also I don't know if I'd necessarily get on with him hanging out.
That's fair.
You know, but like he's probably got some really cool stories, or like maybe Hendrix like would be better. Like I'm not necessarily into like psychedelic-y rock, but also I bet he's got some good stories.
There you go.
Yeah, someone like that I think would be really cool. I'm just trying to think of like one I would know. I can't think of a good musician who I think I would appreciate their awesome music would actually be somebody I'd get on with, who's dead. I don't know. I'm gonna keep thinking. If I think of a better answer while we're on, I'll let you know.
I mean, Jimi Hendrix for stories, that's a pretty good answer.
He's got to have some cool stories. Or maybe like there's a big thing, isn't there? I can't remember what the age is. It 26, where loads of musicians died at 26.
Oh, I don't know.
Somebody who knows music,
I've
tell me
heard
what the age
something
is.
like that.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be really cool to get them all together and have like the 26 club?
The 26 club. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Dustberry has misdemeanors. Thank you for getting over here and joining in the fun. 27. Oh, thank you, Blues.
27 club.
I was close. Yeah. So let's have the 27 club over for coffee, and just maybe there's some big conspiracy. Let's ask them all how they died. See if we can work something out. And yeah, it would be. I think that would be a lot of fun. Kurt Cobain and Hendrix are 2 members. Yeah, see, Kurt Cobain also came to my mind as a musician. It would be who's probably got some really cool stories. The only reason I sort of potentially steered more away from him is because his music, although very good and like big, is maybe a bit less technically flashy. But he would still probably be really cool to hang out with.
So you're just gonna buy around for the 27 club.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm gonna do. We're all gonna go to Costa, like, and it would be interesting to see what their like coffee order is. Is like who's having a latte, who's getting a mocha in, who wants a frappe, like.
Who gets it just black?
Yeah. I imagine actually a lot of them artists just have like black coffee and cigarettes. That's what they live on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
You never knew about the 27 Club? That surprises me. Look it up. Cool. Well, thank you very much. Sid, let's move on to you. So a lot of your streams have been grinding raids on Final Fantasy 14. What's been your favourite raid to do and your favourite raid reward?
My favorite one that I've done so far was probably one from last year, the first one in the last year. So it was we call him Roid Bunkle because he's like this like carbuncle that's like all steroided out.
Wow.
Looking.
But Bunkle's like super cute and little, like.
Yeah, normally like they're the little cute little
green thing.
guys,
Yeah.
But this one is like a huge one.
Amazing.
That's all, like strong. He kind of reminds me of those things. Have you seen that old live action Scooby-Doo movie from like the early 2000s? They look just like it looks just like those monsters.
Amazing.
In my opinion, but that one's probably been my favorite raid so far. But it's always really fun to try to tackle all these bosses with my friends and stuff. So yeah, that one's my favorite.
Awesome.
So far.
What was your favorite reward?
Favorite reward. Let me see.
Sorry, this was two questions in one. I'm cheating, I know, but
I haven't really gotten any on content mount rewards yet, but I'm always about mounts. Like that's my thing.
Yeah, me and John were just saying that.
About the mounts that's not even in the game yet.
Right.
Like that's how much I love mounts.
We're always looking forward to the next mount.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
How did of course John do that?
Yeah. Thank you for the 100 bits and the Octodad blobs. Speaking of Final Fantasy 14, guys, there might be a theme for today's chat show, just so you know. But speaking of Final Fantasy 14, I know you've recently started doing some PvP streams. How has this been as a change of pace from doing like the co-op and the raids and the stuff?
PvP is a lot more chill.
Really?
The main reason why I've been doing PvP is because I don't know if I guess in this expansion they started doing like these battle passes. I call them battle passes, but they're not like any extra money on top of the game. They're just like a seasonal thing. But that's why I've been doing them. And I think they're really fun. And it's easier to talk with like people in my chat whenever I do PvP because I'm not like super hardcore concentrating on trying to beat a boss or anything like that. I'm just fighting other players.
Yeah. Wow. I think this might be the only time in the history of gaming where somebody said PvP is more chill. Like
it's more chill for me. But yeah.
Wow.
I'm just doing frontline. Maybe ranked solo PvP is harder.
Sure.
Well, solo only because you have to go in by yourself. You can't bring friends. But yeah. It's more chill for me.
That's cool. I know you've done a lot of art for your streams, and you have in your description on your Twitch that you do emote commissions. So if anyone ever needs cool emotes, talk to Sid. So
Okay.
I was wondering, what is the best art you've done, or what's the art you're most happy with? Not necessarily for your stream, but for any streams, or...
I really like my emotes
Yeah.
that I made for
Well,
my
I'm really
channel,
glad that
'cause
you
it's
like your emotes.
because it's like different memes that I really like, and I like did my own like version of it. But I also did a lot of emotes for like Elementality, who's in the chat, John,
Yep.
my friend John, and some other friends. I've done emotes for them.
Yeah.
It's always fun. I like how the emotes are a lot like more condensed than a big giant picture.
Sure.
I find they're like easier to draw because of that. But yeah, I like mine. Yeah, I would Blue shared one in the chat.
Do you have a
The
favorite?
This is fine emote.
Is it, do you have a favorite of your emotes?
Give me 1 second. I have to look through. I really like this one the most, and that one's really popular.
The hello-
John
yeah.
shared more of them.
I do see
the hello one?
the hello one around a lot. I've not seen
Yeah.
that dab one before, and I really like the background to it. It's very dynamic. It's
Yeah, the dab one was actually one of the first ones that I did.
Hmm.
But the hello was from, in the past I used to say hello like multiple times when somebody comes in the voice chat or whatever. So that's where that came from, and it's pretty funny.
it's nice that it's got a story behind it as well. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have a question you want to ask me then? While you're here.
What is a character from a show or video game that you can like relate to the most?
Oh, so I've thought about this before. Have you? I was about to say
Yeah.
have you, but I'm sure you have. So, have you played Final Fantasy 15?
Yes.
Right.
I have.
So Prompto is me, right? Like, he's the guy who just sits on the side, cracking jokes and being silly, but is secretly on the inside deeply insecure and very convinced that everything is like not okay.
Aww.
And I feel like I really enjoyed Final Fantasy 15. I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with it, but I thought it was great. And I remember playing it being like, so yeah, this is just me. Like, if I did photography, that's just it.
I could see that. I could
Yeah.
see the similarities there with Prompto.
Yeah.
I liked that game, but it was like the last half. I don't know if it's half, but like 25% or whatever. When it starts going like linear,
Yeah.
that's when I was like, it lost its value. Like
It's the penultimate chapter, especially, isn't it? When you're locked in that base and you have to. It's all like the weird maze where you don't have any weapons.
yeah.
A lot of people.
It just wasn't as good, and the story kind of went downhill. Sad.
I mean, maybe, but it is one of only 2 Final Fantasies I've actually finished.
Yeah, same.
So, and the ending did make me cry. So, because everything makes me cry.
The ending definitely made me cry.
Yeah. So I would say even if the last like patch of the game isn't as good, like it's worth getting through because
Yeah.
it's great.
And Prompto's cool.
Yeah, I felt so. I mean, sorry,
Iggy was my favorite though.
that's fair. I mean, he cooks
Classic.
amazing food.
Yeah.
That's cool. Right. So that's that for the interviews. You can all relax now. I'm going to stop asking you horrible questions.
It was a good question.
Good. I'm
They
glad.
were a good question.
So move on to what is still the. I'm gonna for the whole of this year call it the new section because I didn't have it last year, but the spread the wholesome section. Well, I've asked both of my guests to come along with the idea of a streamer that they want to shout out and a small pitch on why you should go and check out their channel. So do you want to do it the other way around? Sid, do you want to start?
Sure. This one was easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
I of course am gonna shout out Elementality, New Jersey.
I can do that.
Jay.
I know how to spell him.
John. That's my friend John. I met him like 7-ish.
God, I hope I
years
spelled it
ago.
right. Yeah, Marika, that sounds like him.
I'll let the shout out happen.
Yep.
Oh,
But yeah, so why should everyone go and follow John? I already do,
Yeah.
so that's handy, but...
but I met him like 7 years ago on a game, like an online game that was kind of like an MMO game, I guess.
Mhm.
Torum Online, and I've been friends with him like ever since. And I met Blues on there as well. But yeah, he's amazing. He does music. He plays video games with a piano as his controller, which is pretty awesome. And he's like, I would say he's a variety streamer
Yeah.
when it comes to games. I know he really likes Pokemon, and he's been playing Zelda lately. And he also has like stream avatars, and he does a lot of different stuff with stream avatars. And he tries to like incorporate it into like the lore of his channel and everything. He's just really awesome, and he's really fantastic at creating music as well.
Mhm.
He does it on stream, so
He does. I mean, if we're shouting out John, we should take a point. If you go on his YouTube, he's got songs he's made with Pokemon
Yeah.
noises as sound effects, which
Yeah,
are
and he,
really
like-
cool.
yeah, and he's like created those songs on his Twitch,
Mhm.
like live. So
It's very good. Awesome.
yeah.
But yes, everybody, take Sid's advice, go follow John. He is really great.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Ivory, who do you want to shout out and why?
I just put their link in our little conversation here, but I
Okay,
want to shout
can
out
do that.
streamer turned friend.
I
I'm
will
a
have to
newbie.
briefly
Um,
smallerize everything.
oh, I'm so sorry.
No, no, no,
This
it's
is gonna be
fine.
super difficult for you.
It's not.
I
It's
could've
it's
just thrown it in there.
it's totally good. Nobody saw. It was seamless,
Nobody saw
seamless
anything.
and foolproof.
Stream magic.
Yes.
I want to shout out I'm a newbie, and the reason being is I know so many incredible streamers, but this dude, literally everything that he makes on Twitch, so he streams as more of a hobby and like a passion than doing something to fulfill like a career. But everything he makes, all of his proceeds go directly to Stand Up for Cancer.
Awesome.
That's a story I'll let him tell at some point. So if you want to follow him and ask him, he's very open about that. But he has a very personal attachment to that. But I just think that's awesome that somebody is actually doing something not necessarily for the grind of it. And I really love that. Not that there's anything wrong for those of us who do this as a career, but I love that he's utilized this as a tool to make a difference in the world by contributing to this charity. So everything, anytime he doesn't have donations turned on, but anytime you subscribe, anytime you drop biddies, all of that's through Twitch. Every payout he gets, he then gives to Stand Up for Cancer, and then he'll run different events throughout the year that are fully like promoted as a charity event, and that's what he does. And he's a big advocate on making sure that you're getting your checkups so you can stay safe and stuff as well. He's also a hoot. He's a really funny dude, and he's one of our favorite people to play games with. He's also a Final Fantasy 14 connoisseur.
Ooh.
And he's big into the Zelda games, so I see him play that a lot as well. But yeah, he's just an all-around good dude, and I appreciate his heart, and I think he deserves more recognition than he gets.
Awesome. I will try and check him out when I can. As should everyone else. Awesome, because everyone knows who comes to this channel regularly knows we're all about spreading the wholesome here. So it's really nice that you've come by to tell us about some of your friends. Yeah. Right. Before we get into the next part of the chat show, what is a chat show without a few ad breaks? Normally I would use this first ad break to tell you and promote about stuff that's coming up on my channel, and boy howdy is there some good stuff coming up. But I'm not going to tell you about that today like I would normally, because instead we've got a much more important thing to do. I want to talk about the fact that we should have had Ains with us today. Unfortunately, he told me yesterday that he has had a family emergency coming up. I won't go into details, it's not my place to do so, but that is why he's not here. And I just thought what would be really cool, he's a really nice guy, super friendly, got amazing chill vibes and stuff, plays some like PvP shooters like Apex and stuff, and he's also been playing like Resident Evil, and with like crowd control Resident Evil 4, which was amazing, and other fun things like that. He's a really cool guy, and it would just be really nice if everyone could like go drop him a follow or something, so when he's able to come back to streaming, he suddenly finds that he's got a load of new friends, and it would be really cool if we could just send some positivity to somebody who needs it right now, and if you could all help me in doing that, that would be really great. And just, you know, best wishes to him and everything, because it's really awful when things are going on in your family, and yeah. But so yeah, there's the link. If people could go check him out, it would be just a really nice thing for us to do as a community, I think. That
Done and done.
awesome.
Yeah, I was already following him. So
Yeah, I'm sure a few people here probably are already following him, but like I say, it'd just be nice. I don't know when he's going to be coming back to streaming and stuff. Oh, how long he's going to be off for. But if he comes back and he's suddenly got a load of new people to say hi to him, that just seems like a nice thing. And I don't really know what else I can do to help, but I'd like to do something.
That's sweet. I like that.
Cool. So the next sort of like bit of the show is we're just going to have a chat about whatever people want to have a chat about. I mean, I've got something to kick us off if you want, or if either of you two want to bring up something you want to talk about, that's fine. Shout now.
I
Or
love how you put a bunch of streamers on a stream and suddenly they don't know what to talk about.
no, what? Oh man, it's the hardest thing ever. If somebody says to you, "Hey, what do you want to talk about?" Which is like mind empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
what is it that you would bring up? That you were gonna bring up? CK?
So I was thinking with you two and what we've talked about already in the interviews and stuff, it would be interesting to know, like just generally speaking, what people think about MMOs as a whole and like the pros and cons of MMOs compared to other games. Because I guess before you both dive into how amazing Final Fantasy XIV is a bit more,
I'll happily talk about that game.
I know you, yeah. I just sort of thought I'd share my MMO experiences with you.
Yeah.
So I have played Final Fantasy XIV a little bit, but I played it, and the problem I had is if you're only playing the free version, you can't make parties with people. So when me and my other friend both tried to play it together, it was very difficult because we didn't, as like a first time playing it, we didn't want to sort of drop the money to invest in it, as it has a free version. That's a really good joke, sorry. Yeah, it became difficult, and then trying to play with other people who'd been playing it for a long time. It's very much what Ivory was saying a bunch about her WoW experiences. Like, they were already massively out-leveled me, didn't want to hang around in the newbie area, and I couldn't get to any of the bits where they wanted to go because I had only just started. It meant playing with friends very difficult. So I did try Final Fantasy XIV for a little bit, and I really enjoyed like what I played, but I find that playing an MMO on your own to be not a brilliant experience, personally, which is a shame. It would be the sort of thing if I had other people to play with, and I know a few people have said to me before, hey, you could come play it with us, but it is really just a case of finding the time. But I would probably enjoy it more. Whereas I used to play, I think it's called the Old Republic, but the Star Wars MMO.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and that was really good. And there was a good sort of like 2-3 month period where me and my brother and one of our friends were all playing it together. My brother and my friend were both Jedis, and I was the smuggler captain Zarx McTarquin, which is the coolest name I've ever come up with ever. And we just went and did missions together, and it was brilliant, and I really enjoyed that. So I do think MMOs are, personally, a game that you need to play with people. Or at least they're much better if you play them with people. But then I wondered what your thoughts were. If that's similar to what you found, or...
I had started the game with some friends who started at the same time as me.
Yeah.
But I had like Shin Raven, who had already like finished the MSQ like that was there, and he helped us along as well. I would agree, it's definitely a lot better experience when you're with friends, at least, especially in the beginning before like you get your bearings and you're like, oh, I can do this stuff by myself, like whenever my friends aren't around.
Yeah.
It definitely makes it more enjoyable, and like to tackle on new content with your friends is always really fun too. I've had some like friends like in the community that are behind us, like that aren't caught up.
Yeah.
And we normally try to like take the time, at least like, you know, once a week or whatever, or worst case like once a month every now and then, to kind of like do older content with them.
Yeah.
To try to like give them a good experience and like help them along and like get, you know, different quests done that require like friends and stuff like that. In order to like help them have like that experience playing with friends kind of thing while they're still behind.
See, that would be really nice. I would like, and if somebody said to me, hey, just once a month for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours, do you want to just sit down and play an RPG together? Like, I would be really cool. That would sounds great to me. I would do that quite happily.
Yeah, because like I had the same thing like whenever I first started, like, you know, Shin would come help us, like he's already like overpowered, fully leveled, like we say overpowered, but really he was just on content level.
Yeah.
But like he would come and help us out, so like I try to like give back to like the new people whenever they start and help them out, like how I was helped out. So
that's really nice.
Yeah, if anything, I'm sad that was your first experience, because I mean, honestly, that feels like my WoW experience, which I still lovingly throw salt at my husband for.
Exactly. And then but if you'd had the same experience you had with Final Fantasy 1 WoW, you may well have just played that and enjoyed that.
I think the difference is, I don't know how a whole lot of other MMOs play, and everybody plays an MMO for a different reason. I think what got me playing Final Fantasy to the point where I will now, I'll play it without people being around. And towards later content, once I started getting my footing playing an MMO, because I've never played, like, I gave WoW a shot, but I was never comfortable in it. I never really learned how to do things. I always felt incredibly inadequate when it comes. So then it's just not fun. Like, not only do I not really care about the story, I tried to care, but I didn't really understand it. I wasn't really into it. But I was always frustrated with not being able to kill something or not being able to do mechanics or whatever, because I don't know how to play an MMO, right? Yeah. So Final Fantasy does a really good job of dumbing it down, which can be very annoying for seasoned MMO players. Which seasoned MMO players, if they can get through the first expansion, the rest of it is awesome. Stormblood gets a little slow, because I know I've got some people in chat who will fight me on Stormblood. I like Stormblood, but I also like political stories, and Stormblood is a very politically heavy I'm just a wee sprout, says Dustberry. That's the individual that I know would fight me on Stormblood being boring. I enjoyed Stormblood, but it's a slower pace. But then the rest of it is so, the story is well done. The mechanics get more intricate and harder. And so for somebody who's seasoned, if they can get through the early parts of the game, then they start tailoring the game to the people who are already playing. And I think the great part about this is you get to grow with the game, and it doesn't matter if you were here 10 years ago or if you're starting tomorrow. Everybody goes on the same journey. And so for seasoned MMO players who are coming over from WoW or coming over from other games, ARR, Realm Reborn, the very first expansion, is hard. It's hard because it's boring. And there's a lot of fetch quests. So it is rough because they're going, I can do this. Why do I have to do this? This is dumb, you know? For me, as a new player, though, it was amazing because I didn't know how to play an MMO, and it held my hand through the whole thing, which I get is annoying for seasoned players. But for somebody who's brand new, it was awesome. It was absolutely fantastic. I think I had the free trial for all of 2 weeks, and I was like, no, I want to buy it. I'm committed. I'm in. And the nice thing now is if you ever wanted to pick it back up, CK, you have more than enough people who would be more than happy to party up with you. You can do your free trial again, call it a day. It'd be great. We would party with you and take you on all sorts of magical adventures. It would be awesome. But I don't know a lot about other MMOs. I don't know that I have the desire to ever get into another MMO because it's a time suck.
Yeah, they are big.
I think after I finished, actually I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was an entire week where all I did was I sat at my computer and I played Final Fantasy. I had no new content. I was farming. It was amazing. But it was literally, I woke up, I ate breakfast, I sat down, and I played Final Fantasy, and then it was 10 p.m., and I was like, oh, I should probably go to bed.
Yeah.
I wasted an entire week doing that.
No, wait.
No shame. Like,
But you had a really good time, so you didn't waste it. Because having a good time...
Yes and no.
No.
Dishes were piling up, laundry needed to be done, I probably smelled. Like, let's be real.
Sure, but it was enjoyable, and I think you shouldn't refer to time you enjoyed as a waste of time because it's important to enjoy yourself.
But
I mean, don't get me wrong, do your laundry, but
right, still got to be an adult, still got to
yeah,
human, you know. But so like I think MMOs are a time suck. I don't think I will ever play another one because I love this one so much. So I'm a terrible person to ask an opinion on other MMOs because I just don't have any experience with them.
I mean, that's fair.
But Final Fantasy, I think, does a really good job at slightly annoying seasoned MMO players, but being an overall good package deal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think hand-holding isn't necessarily... I think it's better to have it than not have it. Because if you're a seasoned MMO or any other type of game that has tutorial stuff, right? You know, if you know what you're doing, you can just blitz through it. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's really helpful, and without it, you wouldn't play the game. Like, it's definitely better it's there than it to be lacking and people to struggle.
Mm-hmm.
A good thing about Final Fantasy 14 as well is they have content for like literally every type of like player. If you don't want to do the hard stuff, you could just do MSQ. You don't even have to do MSQ. You could actually skip it if like you wanted to pay for it. But like, if you're just into the MSQ, you can log in, do that. I think they're even trying to make some of that even just completely soloable, to where it's just like just the story if you wanted to do that.
Can I just
I
ask?
think they're still working on the dungeons and stuff. What was that?
Can I just ask, what does MSQ mean?
Main story.
Oh.
Main story quest.
Okay.
Yeah, so like just the story.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do crafting, you could do just crafting if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
PvP, RP, if that's what you're into. Like if you just want to RP. If you want to do the higher level stuff, they have like different like levels you can go to. I personally like the hard stuff, so like I do those battles, but they just have everything for everybody. They even added recently like a farm sim type of like area, which I've been doing that a lot lately myself, the Island Sanctuary. It's where it's like just like farming, gathering on your little island and like building it up.
It feels like Animal Crossing.
Basically, yeah.
Sanctuary is like Animal Crossing. Yeah.
And they
That's
even
really cool.
added like furniture customization now
Mhm.
for
Oh,
the
that-
island, so it's
yeah.
even more like
I was gonna say that is
Crossing.
Animal
If you
Crossing.
like Animal Crossing, come play Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the advertising market they're really missing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy
They
New
had
Horizons.
I have a
I mean,
couple of
Blues-
friends who are only in Stormblood story content wise, but one of them has, I think, almost all of her crafters.
Sorry, wait
are,
1 second. Claire, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. How are you doing? If you don't know me, I'm CK. We're currently having a chat show with my lovely friends Ivory and Sid, where we're currently talking about MMOs. If that's something that, I guess, kind of leading more towards Final Fantasy 14 because that's what the two of them play. If that's something that interests you, please feel free to join in with the conversation. Claire, how was your stream? I hope you're having a lovely day. And thank you so much for raiding here, and thank you everybody who's come along with the raid for coming to check us out. I really hope you're all having a great day. Sorry, carry on. And I'm going to give you a shout out as well.
Isn't wrong, I
have a
do it for the
girlfriend
mount.
She's got 3 or 4 crafters at 90, and she still hasn't finished Stormblood.
See, people do just
Yeah.
that.
It's just they've got something for every. I got another one who's in Stormblood, and all he does is PvP. And he's like, I'm only doing Stormblood because you keep yelling at me. And I was like, where's the story? It's good. It's like, I hate Stormblood.
Shadowbringer.
Oh, ahoy. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just, she's not wrong. It's literally got something for everyone, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and they're adding more and more as they go on. Like, they just added that Animal Crossing Harvest Moon type thing. But yeah, I did only do it for the mount, but you know.
What was the mount?
I had gotten an eggplant knight mount. It's like this, like, eggplant looking monster, but like, it's like half eggplant, half penguin looking. It's kind of hard to explain.
An eggplant penguin.
Yeah.
I
It-
need it.
I was going to say, wait,
It's really
Sadly.
cute.
is this
They
the...
have different types of vegetables. Too.
oh, okay. I was gonna, is it, it's an eggplant one? Is it what, like, all the Final Fantasy characters, like, send each other instead of willies, like... You know, like on a...
Oh, no. No.
Sorry,
But yeah, I like
being
that
childish.
because it's eggplant night. But they have like different ones like Tomato King and stuff like that. They're really cute.
Awesome.
I've gotten none of the mounts yet. I need to do that.
Well, if you took... Right, so I
I'm
assume...
obsessed.
I was
with
going to
mounts.
say, I can only assume that after today, you two are going to become best friends and play Final Fantasy all the time.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna have to like message you and friend you.
Right, so Sid is
I already
the
added her on Discord.
Sid is like
Yeah.
the champion of getting mounts. This is what all of her streams are about, is just getting new mounts.
Beautiful.
That's
so-
always my end game.
So I can only believe that you know, she's going to set you up, get you the coolest mounts.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's what we work on.
So, while we're sort of talking Final Fantasy, we probably should talk something else at some point. But while we are still talking about Final Fantasy, I really like the character creation for it as well. Because I went into it being like, yeah, I'm gonna make this really cool, like, badass. It's gonna like be like some sort of fantasy, like, heroic legacy character or whatever. I looked at all the different species and was like, is it the Lalas or what is it, the little small people? And I was just like, well, these are adorable. I'm having one of these. Ignore all of my ideas and making some amazing badass. I'm gonna make the most adorable.
you.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna make the most adorable character I can. She's a little archer, is what I made. She looked amazing. She was super cool. She was called Lyra. This was before I had my daughter, but I already had the name I wanted for her, so that I used it there. Just to let you know how long ago it was that I tried to play this game. But yeah, and she was just... I did think she was a really cool character that I enjoyed playing. It was in some ways it is a shame that I didn't play it more. But, you know, maybe at some
You're
point...
not dead yet.
That's it, I'm not. Maybe...
Yeah, it's not deleted.
It is deleted, but I could reinstall it.
I mean, like the character is not deleted.
Oh, no, that is the wonder of the internet, I guess.
Yeah, I was very anti-Lala.
Really?
I was. I'm ashamed to say that. I was very anti-Lala. I was all about the cat girl. And
That's
then
fair.
there's jokes, and the only time that I like these jokes is when they're said with, fun, loving jest.
Mm.
But there's definitely jokes about cat girls being like the basic bish of
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Final
yeah.
They
Fantasy.
are. They are.
And it was
Everybody's a
funny,
cat girl.
right? Well, there's a YouTube video, and I don't remember who did it. One of these fools in chat will probably know. And by
Probably
fools, I
Chair.
mean my husband.
Misshapen chair, probably.
Yeah, misshapen chair, or there was another one. They did a whole spiel about how cat girls are actually like they're the girls that go to Starbucks all the time type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, that's me. And then they have to have the two-toned eyes, and I was like, oh yeah, that's me. So it applied very much so. And then they're like all about the kawaii aesthetic, and I was like, oh, that's me. So I loved it. And then yeah, Lucy Fire. And then
Oh, she's cool.
I don't remember why. Oh, I said New Year, New Me. So I was like, I'm gonna be a bun girl because I wanted to be more of a degen.
Mm-hmm.
I could. And then we had some stuff happen IRL, and so I was gonna change the bun girl's personality, and I was like, well, since I'm in character creation, let's just look at all these others. So I'm looking at the humans, I'm looking at the elves, and again, this is all for degen purposes, right? And then I was like, well, for shits and giggles, let's just look at a Lala. I kid you not, I sat there and I giggled for like 20 minutes, and I was like, well, I guess I'm a Lala now. And I've been a Lala for like, I don't know, 2 months now, and I'll never go back. It's so much fun. You have so much more fun as a Lala. I don't know why.
I said
there's
that
nothing
too
degen
whenever I was
about
little,
it.
though.
Are you a Lala?
I used to be, and then I was
You-
like, I have a Fantasia addiction.
There's not, hey, that you're an equal opportunity enjoyer of the characters. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have experienced the greatness that it is to be a Lala. I thought it was a lie.
100%.
Right. So
It was a lie.
here's my question.
It's true.
Why didn't you combine the two? Go out there and be the most degen sexy Lala you can possibly be.
It feels weird.
Yeah.
Feels a little weird. But there are different camera angles you can get if you want to be a degen, but not like yourself be a degen. We won't go
Sure,
into that.
right, yeah.
I mean, you can still enjoy it if that's your personality, but no, the weird stuff, like you just be a little gremlin. It's so much fun. Like you just unleash this gremlin energy that you didn't know was possible. You
Love that.
photobomb people, you see their little like you see them standing there for a hot minute, and you're like, oh, I bet you the G-pose icon's gonna show up. So you run and you like it's so stupid, but it's so much fun. And the
I like
cutscenes are funnier.
lollipops.
Yep, and you get head pats. Being a Lala, you automatically are entitled to head pats. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
You get them all the time.
Mhm.
Man, that sounds
I'm a bun
amazing.
girl now, though.
I like them too.
Surely bun girls get head pads too.
They're so tall.
I don't
Oh,
think so.
really?
I haven't.
I wouldn't have thought of them as really tall, just normal size, but with ears. I guess they're tall
No,
if you
they're
can.
tall.
Oh, okay,
They're like
Yeah.
6 feet tall at least.
okay,
Yeah, they're super tall. They're like models.
all right.
Yeah.
Like they're
I always liked
stereotypical.
Vieras though, so like in Final Fantasy 12 and everything.
You see, I don't know anyone who's played Final Fantasy 12. Like that's a big thing. Because it didn't do too well, did it? It like kind of flopped a little bit, and then 14 sort of came out of amazing, and everyone was like, "Well, this is what 12 should have been," and all that sort of.
It isn't as popular as like Final Fantasy 10 and 7 and stuff like that.
No, but I think that's because even if it's not true, the idea of an MMO is very intimidating to a lot of people, and whereas a normal game you can just pick up and play is much more accessible. I mean, that being said, I also have a similar thing where I tried to play 7 and I couldn't get into it, like the original. I keep meaning to do it again. I got to a point where my game glitched and it wouldn't let me swap my materia to other characters, and then I couldn't beat a boss, and then I didn't bother restarting.
On the old one or the new one?
On the old one. I haven't played the remake because I want to play the original first.
I feel that.
But as far as Final Fantasy goes, 9 has always been my favourite. I think.
Same, Devin's favorite.
Yeah, I think I played 9 at the right time, at the perfect time in my life. I very much feel like it helped me develop empathy. Like playing it as like a 11-year-old. Because I tried to play, I played Final Fantasy 8 quite a lot before, and I certainly enjoyed it, but I didn't like, it wasn't as groundbreaking. And then I played 9, and I remember Final Fantasy 9 being like the very first time that I was sad when the characters were sad, and I was happy that they were happy, and I like really had a big emotional connection, and I don't think I'd ever done that with a game before. So I could like understand why maybe it's not necessarily the best of the games, but to me it's always like going to be the most important. But yeah, and I tell everyone to play Final Fantasy 9. It was like the second.
Yeah.
It was the first. Well, technically second, but like it was one of the first games I ever streamed. Like because I was like, hey everyone, this is this amazing game. I want to share it with you. Let's go.
That's my favorite Final Fantasy 9.
It is really good.
I have not played any other Final Fantasy game.
See, I was going to ask you that if you'd played any. Like, have you got any drive to do so? Or?
I'm curious, but honestly, not because of 14, but because of Kingdom Hearts.
That's fair. So I'm trying to think what Final Fantasy characters you've met. So Tidus and Wakka are from 10, and you meet them on the island at the beginning. And you also meet Selphie, who is from 8. And then you've met Aerith, and Yuffie, who are from 7 in Traverse Town. And like he's Leon in Kingdom Hearts, but he's Squall in Final Fantasy 8.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's basically 7, 8, and 10 are the ones you've met. Oh, have characters you've met from Kingdom Hearts.
Apparently, my husband says I have to play 7 first.
Yeah,
I thought it would make sense to play them chronologically, but a lot of people say don't do that.
So yeah, because there's
They're
no
not related.
there's no follow-on. They've got like some of the same monsters, but that's about it.
Oh, okay.
And also, I don't know. Apparently some people have done it, but every time I've ever tried to play Final Fantasy 1, I have always wiped out before. I've never managed to finish the first dungeon. That game is hard as nails. Like, which is a shame.
I would recommend.
Sorry,
If you want, like, if you go in order, I think 4 is pretty good.
Okay. The oldest one I've played is 6, and I haven't played a lot of it. Like the main ones I've played are. Get over here! Geeky Skippy, thank you for getting over here and joining in the fun. Much appreciated. I hope you're having a great day. But yeah, I think it's 8, 9, 10, and 15 are the ones I've played mostly. And actually, I thought about it. I said to you earlier I'd only finished 2 Final Fantasies, but I finished 8 because I streamed it not too long ago. Man, 8 gets weird.
I want to play 8 because I think Squall would be like right up my alley.
Oh, man,
So
actually,
I would play
sorry.
just for him.
Whoa, actually, I mean, I get it. He's a hunky guy and he's a broody emo. It's fair, perfectly reasonable. You know, in the HD remaster, they made him more muscly.
Well, I don't care about that, but like
Okay.
his personality would
Sure.
be like kind of deal.
Yeah, so when I obviously because it doesn't have voice acting, so I had to do voices for all the characters when I streamed it. So Squall had to have his default emo voice. So he's very much like, people, I just want to hit things with my big sword and be left alone. You know, that was very much Squall. But no, actually, sorry, going back to characters I relate to that you were saying about. So when I was 10 and I played Final Fantasy 8 for the first time, Zell was the coolest person in the world as far as I was concerned.
Who?
Zell, he's from Final Fantasy 8. He's the one with the blonde spiky hair.
Oh, that guy.
Right.
Okay.
So as far as I was concerned, he was the coolest person ever because he's got spiky hair, he wears board shorts, he's got a hoverboard, he's the one who's allowed to be ruder than all the others, like he's the one who says bastard all the time. I was just like, my god, he is the coolest person ever. I want to grow up to be him. He's got a face tattoo. Like, My God, like 10-year-old me was just like, here's the cool. Him and Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil are the coolest people ever, as far as 10-year-old me is concerned. And actually, I still
that's
think
pretty cool.
I still think they're both very cool. Not a lot has changed. I've just got bigger.
Leon is cool, so I don't
Yes.
blame you.
That's it. Leon's pretty dreamy. I know, right? You see, that's a big thing you're missing out on because you don't play the spooky games, so you won't have played Resident Evil. And that was one of the
I've watched. Sneaky Hippo is actually my significant other.
Yes.
And he loves scary games. So
Right.
what we do is he built a PC to use in our living room.
Mm-hmm.
And so he actually will play the Resident Evil games, and I'll watch.
Cool.
So I'll sit there and I'll watch, and then it kind of
You can
turns
hide
into
and-
one of these.
Yeah. So that's actually
But I like the puzzles.
mm,
So
that's how I got Katie into them because she likes the puzzles, but not so much not so much the shooting.
So he does all the pew pew, and
Yeah.
then I'll sit there and try to figure out the puzzles. But there have been a couple of those scenes that it's just like I'm like, "Ugh, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna leave the room now.
Certainly in
Like,
some of the
oh
more
my
recent
God.
ones. That is one of the things with graphics getting better is that
Oh yeah.
certainly I think in the RE2 remake the gore in it was incredible. I mean, it was disgusting, but it was so well done. Like
Props to those creators. but
Yeah.
Also, hot dang, that's gross.
yes, absolutely. But no, like Resident Evil 2 was one of the games that sort of really cemented gaming to me as a thing. I mean, I probably shouldn't have been playing it at that age anyway, but it's such like the scene where you see the first licker, like you walk down the corridor and it goes into a little cutscene of the licker like clinging to the ceiling and it turns around to look at you and it's got the big long tongue come down. Like that's so in my brain as like one of the most amazing gaming things ever.
That's so cool that you have that kind of like you have that connection to gaming.
Yeah. I mean, I've been playing video games since I was 2 years old, but like, I played Resident Evil 2 when I was 10 or 11, and like that was like, yes, this is like an amazing thing that I've done. And I keep saying I'm gonna get that like image of the liquor as a tattoo, and I haven't done it. And I keep being like, wouldn't it be really cool if I had a liquor tattoo? Like,
I know you like those horror games.
I mean, I think the problem with horror is it's very hard to get well. Like, there's a lot of horror games that are shit, but the ones that are good, I think, are really very worth playing and like worth experiencing and stuff. But that makes me interested. The fact that you say you watch it while he plays and stuff. I don't know. I mean, I guess this is more a question for Hippo. Like, you know, do you find that games are more scary if you have somebody who gets scared easily with you? Because I remember,
That's a good question.
yeah. So I remember playing the Saw game because I'm a huge Saw fanboy. So I remember playing the Saw game, which I understand objectively is shit, but the first time I played it was with Katie, who gets scared very easily. We were under a big duvet. There was a storm outside, so all we could hear was like the rain and the TV and stuff. And it was pitch black. We were just playing it, and we were terrified for the whole like 3 hours we were playing it.
Oh, shit,
Sorry.
Trooper.
And then like, after that, objectively, any other time I played it, not that scary. But I think because she was there and she was scared, it made me scared.
See, the problem is I won't watch them. Like, I won't watch him play
Right.
unless all the lights are on, the curtains are open. Like, everything has to be nice and happy. So if anything, I'd probably make it less terrifying for him. Because if he said we're gonna turn off all the lights and we're gonna close all of the blackout curtains, I think I'd be like, and I'm gonna go play Final Fantasy. Have fun.
I mean, that's
I
fair.
don't think I'd be able to do it. So I don't know. That is a good question.
I mean, I don't
I'm
think-
meaning to answer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that she would probably do that now, but, you know, that was sort of back when we were dating as opposed to married. Like,
Yeah, that's fair. That's also true. I will say that, like, so, so he says that it's subjective.
Yes.
But I will say, and it's funny. So all the gore and everything
Mm-hmm.
scares me. I'm just a big chicken, and I'm very well aware of this. I have an overactive imagination.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is like Hippo can play these games and then go to bed and sleep just fine.
Yeah.
If I play these games or I watch these games, then I go to bed and I'm reliving them in real time
Sure.
in my dreams. Like, it's awful. So I can't, and I also don't handle jump scares well. So it's interesting how that stuff doesn't bother him. But we watched a movie, The Quiet Place.
Hmm. I've not seen it.
and
I've heard of it.
It's very good. The lack of audio, like the lack of, there were some scenes that were so like dead silent that actually freaked us out almost more than when the thing that you're supposed to be afraid of was actually revealed.
Sure.
Like the unknowing was more terrifying than the knowing.
Yeah, there's a big thing with horror writers where the longer you can go before you reveal your monster, the scarier it is. Because once you reveal it, you've got nothing else to do. Like, all your cards are played.
Yeah.
It's a big thing with, like, classic horror.
And that was interesting. That's the first time I've ever watched him watch a film where he actually looked.
I was gonna say actually, as you've mentioned, it's the lack of audio that bothers you. Check out a film called Dead Silence. Really good film. But
Why did I watch that after I just said
well,
that?
but I mean Hippo, because go
Okay, yeah, Hippo.
Hippo, go find a film called Dead Silence. It's really good.
There you go.
The ghost makes all sound stop. It's really interesting. It's really very well done in audio engineering sense.
Oh, so that's very
The last game that I played that had that jump scared me was whenever I was playing Dark Souls. I was in Blighttown, and they have like these monsters that I think look like kind of like old men, like type looking monsters. And I was stuck behind like a corner somewhere, and I just heard them like from all around me, like their noises that they make, and I was like, oh, I'm so scared. And then all of a sudden, like, one of them came out of nowhere, and like it scared me pretty bad.
I like things like that though, when games that aren't supposed to be scary, like, unintentionally scare you. Like, I sort of, it's almost more organic. Like, it's
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not prepared.
yeah, like if you go into a
I
horror
was
game,
not.
at least you're like, okay, there's going to be a few jump scares. The atmosphere is going to be a bit creepy, and then I'll meet a horrible monster. You know, you're sort of going through the motions. If you're playing like a more normal game, and then something scary happens, it catches you off guard.
Yeah, I was jumped in the game for sure. I already ran past it. See, I was like behind somewhere, trying to figure out where to go.
Oh, I saw a really interesting thing where somebody played a game only walking backwards, because then all the jump scares would go off, but they wouldn't see any of them because they were facing the other way.
That's actually genius.
I mean, obviously, if any enemies turn up, you're absolutely fucked, but
Well, yeah.
like, as far as jump scares work, it's you won't see anything.
One shot dead.
That's cool. I don't know if you've got any other, like, do you, well, I guess, as I sort of mentioned the Resident Evil thing, do you have any, like, really iconic, like, moments from a game or something that have stuck with you? Well, I suppose for, like, I guess, Ivory, well, you're still actually kind of quite new to gaming. Maybe, has anything really come with you that you've gone, that's a really cool scene that's made me want to play games more? I mean, Sid, I'm interested in yours too, but I feel like you've been playing games most of your life as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a gamer.
I don't know.
No, it's fine.
And the only thing that's coming to mind is all Final Fantasy 15.
I mean, that's fine. You can say stuff from Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, I would have to say some of the stuff that you battle through in the later expansions of Final Fantasy 14 kind of, and obviously it's exaggerated because it's this ridiculous world and all of these things. You know, I've never been in battle or anything, but like some of the stuff that you deal with and whatnot kind of hit home and really just I'm such an immersive person, so it's one of the reasons why I have to be careful the movies I watch, and now even just the games that I play, because I full dive straight into it, and it's why, you know, sometimes these video games can be total time sucks, because the rest of the world doesn't exist. It's just whatever is this game, right? And Final Fantasy actually made me physically ill. That's how much it emotionally like tugged at my heartstrings and what happened. So I think this game, anything that I play outside of it, I don't know if it will ever affect me the way that 14 has affected me. And the way that it's made me, like, it just really does a good job at heightening all of your emotions and stuff. So like you almost want to you want to love more and you want to put more out into the world, because you see, like, and again, it's fantasy, but it's just such a good portrayal of like what an ultimate evil could look like, or, you know, what you could do if you actually did put worth effort back into the world and whatnot. And I don't know, man, there's just something about this story that just really, really wrecked me, but like in the best way possible. And it just kind of makes you want to be a better person.
I would say definitely one of the best JRPG stories that I've ever seen, and I've played JRPG since I was young. So I would have to agree with her. I would agree with you. It's pretty good.
Do you have any? Oh, well, actually, sorry. Before I get to it, do you have any gaming moments? Just because I don't know if it works the same way in the MMO. But have you met Tomberries?
Oh yeah.
So like.
Yeah, that's from an early dungeon.
Okay.
Stabby in the game. Yeah, the cute little guys, cute little lizard guys.
Yeah. Well, I was just wondering if because those for a lot of people are the Final Fantasy enemy that really stick with you, because.
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because that's it, isn't it? You go, oh look, a cute little lizard. That's not going to do me much harm, and then it just wrecks you. Doink.
There's a hard mode version of that dungeon where you're actually helping them out. Like, they're not your enemy. You're helping them out.
You get to what? Wait, wow, that would be fun.
Yeah. You're like saving them from like some other enemies that are in the dungeon. Yeah. In the hard mode of that same one. I like the Toneberries though.
Yeah. But yeah, no, do you have a gaming moment that's like ingrained into your brain, or like, and you've gone, yes, this is why I should play games, or? I mean, you don't have to.
I've been playing games since I was like super small.
No, me too.
I have like favorite moments, I guess, from like almost every game that I've played. Like, I always think about Pokemon Sapphire and Ruby had like these cool like secret base things.
Yeah.
I've always really liked decorating and customizing in games.
Sure.
I would say that might have even been the first game that had like some sort of customization like that I played.
All right.
Because like customization stuff, I know like almost every game has it nowadays, but back then they didn't really have too many games like that.
Yeah.
Because this is like years ago now. But I always really loved the secret base thing in there, and I always think about it like all the time.
You know what we used to do with the secret bases? Is because, you know, when you connected with the person, whatever their party was, that's what they'd have in their secret base for you to battle.
Battle.
Yeah, when you went in someone's secret base, you could battle them in there.
Oh, you see, I didn't play with friends.
Oh,
Sadly.
okay.
Yeah.
So
I played by myself.
Oh,
That's
We
fair.
didn't have friends back then.
sorry.
Now you have friends. That's all
Um,
that matters is now you have friends.
yeah,
Exactly.
you have loads of friends here.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you connected your game with somebody else, their secret base would appear in your game. That was that was why you should customize your base so that other people could go and visit it. I mean, obviously you just did it for your
I
own
love
fun,
that.
but
Yeah, I did it for my own fun.
and then whatever your party was at the time that you linked games, they would have that in their base for you to battle.
Aw,
So what we did
I like that.
was we got somebody just to make a party of like level 100 Pokemon, so they were really like good experience, but then give them all dumped moves that couldn't like do damage, so that you could just go in and beat all their Pokemon and get loads of good training.
Love that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Actually, but as far as you sort of saying with the Pokemon thing, I mean, again, I don't want to bring up you're no friends, but in like
No, it's fine.
in Gen 4, they had the underground thing. And I'd say, like, objectively speaking, Gen 4 is one of the worst Pokemon gens, but the underground we spent so much time in. Just
What's that, Diamond and Pearl?
yeah.
That one, I didn't like that one too much.
No, I mean, I didn't too much either, but the underground was really fun, and you could get, like, different floor tiles, so if somebody stepped on them, it would, like, shoot them off in a random direction or something, but you couldn't see them. It would just be if you happened to walk over it. So we'd wait till somebody was digging, and then the other two of us would just, like, go and surround them with traps and, like, tiles and stuff. So as soon as they finished digging, they'd just be like, "Blah!" And it was really fun.
Oh no, Tabitha, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so
That's
jealous
my
of
least
you all.
favorite. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's not my
With
least
your,
favorite.
Pokemon experiences.
Yeah, okay, so we
Yeah.
should trade, right? You can't play Pokemon with me, and I'll play Final Fantasy 14 with you.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah?
I only ever played I played the crap out of Red, but I think I'm a bit older than y'all. Because I played Red on a Game Boy that was like the size of a Bible. It was
I played my Pokemon Blue on my
Probably about the same age. Pokemon Yellow was my first.
yeah Pokemon
game.
Blue was
Yeah.
my first Pokemon.
okay,
um,
all right.
So
So I played the heck out of that, and then I entered not middle school. I entered high school, and suddenly it wasn't cool to be a gamer.
oh man,
And I so
you're
desperately wanted to be liked by my peers that I shoved anything and everything nerd like into a deep dark recess in my soul. And the closest thing that I allowed myself to be nerdy with was like choir and theater, but like gaming stuff, anime stuff, because I was big into it in middle school. I dropped all of it as soon as I hit high school. And so my very next Pokemon game I got last year, I think. And it was the Let's Go Pikachu. And
Oh,
then
cute.
somebody got me Violet not too long ago.
okay.
And that's the closest thing I've gotten now to like re-immersing into Pokemon. But like all of you guys talk about all of these gens in between, and I'm like,
I think Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Yeah, that's like a corporation with like
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
However, I think it's sort of a remake of Pokemon Yellow.
Yes.
that's what they
If I'm
told
not
me. They were like, if you
Yeah.
want
If you
to
want,
not be completely confused by all of the new Pokemon, start with
yeah,
Let's Go Pikachu.
it's Pokemon Yellow
Yeah.
if you don't want to do combat.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I had the Let's Go Eevee, and this is like my sad and obsessive brain, is because you can like dress up the starter Pokemon and get them. So my Eevee, when I went outside, I put a hat on it, and when I went inside, I would take the hat off
That makes me happy.
because it
Very
didn't.
respectful of you.
Yeah, I should say
Adorable.
it doesn't need a hat outside because it's not going to get it burned. So because it was like a baseball cap sort of thing. Because it matched it matched the one.
Ash's hat?
Yeah, it matched the one that my trainer had. So we had matching hats, but you can't take the trainer's hat off. But I was like, whenever I go inside, I have to take the hat off.
I love it.
Yeah. It ended up being a huge time sink because like every time you go to a poker center or whatever, it's like, right, now I need to take your hat off, and then I need to go and heal you, and then I need to go outside, so I need to put your hat back on because I don't want you to get burnt in the sun.
It's so cute.
That's awesome.
Sapphire, Emerald, and Ruby definitely is like probably the best. But I did like X and Y. I know that not many people like X and Y though, but I do recommend Emerald.
Yeah,
For sure.
I mean Gen 3 is good. I would actually personally think Gen 2 is better. I think 2 and 5 are the best gens myself. Well, yeah, they're certainly the two with the most content anyway.
Crystal was the first one that had you could play as a female trainer.
That is also true.
That.
Yeah.
That was good because you could play like all of the gyms in the second gen, and then you could do the first gens if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah, you had 8 gyms, the league, then another 8 gyms, and then a different league, and then the fight with Red. So it was like there was so much to
double
it.
the fun.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think there was a lot to be said for Pokemon. Like, it's been a really big franchise that's still going and stuff. Oh, and a really mad move that I've never played it, so I don't. But I've always wanted to. But does anyone know if Pokken was any good?
If what?
Pokken, it was Pokemon Tekken. It was made by the people that make Tekken, but it was a Pokemon fighting game.
Oh my gosh.
Is that on the
That's amazing.
Switch?
Yes.
I vaguely remember something like that. I'm terrible at fighting games.
I'm okay at
You
fighting
can ask
games.
Blues and John in the chat. Like,
You know,
I'm so bad.
I'm a button masher.
my problem with fighting
Same.
games is that I am better than my friends, so they won't play with me, but I am not good enough to play them online. You know, but I mean, again, sort of talking about like games that we grew up on. Like, I've been playing Mortal Kombat since I was 4 years old. I'm super excited for Mortal Kombat 1 when that comes out in September. Oh my god, it looks amazing. But I'm the like one of these weird people that I buy Mortal Kombat for the story, and then I will play the story and I will put it down, which is weird for a fighting game, but I love it. It's great, and I've just been so invested in that series since I was a wee little lad.
It's true, fighting games have stories.
Yeah, well, I mean, since Mortal Kombat 9, the Mortal Kombat storylines are just basically like a 6-hour film that you occasionally do a fight in. Like, they're really cinematic. They're incredible.
It's actually pretty cool.
Hmm.
I didn't know that.
I mean,
Didn't know that.
well, yeah, in which case, as Mortal Kombat 1 is like a time reset, so it's sort of a soft reboot. So, I mean, I would definitely look at the trailer that's just come out because it looks really cool. Even if you don't play the game, the trailer is incredible. Oh, actually, inspired by what John has just said. So that was one of my cool Pokemon things as well, is that I had Pokemon Gold before it was out in the UK, because I happened to be on holiday in America at the time it was released.
So you got to play it. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I saw it in a shop, like the last day we were in America, and I begged my parents to like buy it for me. And I was just like, this game doesn't come out, because this was before worldwide releases. I was like, this game doesn't come out in our country for another 6 months. And I was like, can I have it?
In 6 months.
Yeah, it was something like that. So I must have been like one of the first, and obviously this was, nowadays all like cartridges are chipped and stuff, so you can only play them in the region you buy them, aren't they? But this was before that was the thing.
Wait, that's a thing?
Yeah, well, it is at least with discs. I'm not sure cartridges are the same, but I know you like, if you were to buy like a PlayStation game from Japan or whatever, it wouldn't work on your PlayStation here.
Yeah,
That's
it's region.
ridiculous.
Some things are region locked. Like that, yeah.
But
I know.
so not cool.
Yeah, that's it. Because I know when I was young, one of my friends had a Japanese PS2 just so he could play all the games that don't come out in this country in like Japan only, because he was really into RPGs. So he had an English PS2 and a Japanese PS2 so he could play whatever.
It sucks that it's like that though, but yeah.
Yeah.
The more you know. Alright. Again, not a gamer.
No.
It's all new to me.
So, again, this would be, I guess, quite interesting. Potentially more from like with Ivory's perspective as well as a new gamer. But what was like the first games that you played?
I mean, we had some games growing up.
Oh my god, Tabby
And,
just asked the same question.
Yeah, she just
Yeah,
asked the
it's
same
a good
question.
question.
Yes, Tabby.
We didn't. My parents did an awesome job making it seem like we had all the money in the world, but we didn't. But they faked it really well. So we had an old NES, and we played that. I mean, we played that all up until they got rid of it. I think we had that through high school.
Awesome.
So Super Mario Brothers, the OG, and then I mean we played 2 a little bit, but 2 was kind of. And
That's
then
'cause-
3 when you finally got the leaf and you could fly.
Yeah, Super Mario 3 is one of the best games ever made. I would die on this hill.
Oh yeah.
But it's because Super Mario 2, like, okay, you as a non-gamer, you may not know, is not a Mario game. In Japan,
Really?
yeah, in Japan, that's why it's so different. Because in Japan, it was, I can't remember what it's called, but it was a different game with different characters. And then when they released it to the Western audience, they were like, hey, if we stick Mario in it, people will buy it.
Well, they weren't wrong.
Because I don't know if you've ever played Super Mario Lost Levels, but that's actually Super Mario 2.
Oh no, yeah, I have it. That's really cool. Yeah, we played Mario, and then I think middle school-ish. My parents got us a PlayStation, and we lost our minds because the whole time between the NES to the PlayStation, all of my friends would always get these upgraded game systems, right? And we never did because we couldn't afford it. But my parents would they made the NES seem so cool. So it's like, who needs a Dreamcast, whatever? Who needs an N64? I got an NES. Like, they did a really good job at faking us out. But we got a PlayStation, and there was a game, and I can't remember what it's called. But it was like a Capcom game, only it didn't have like the Street Fighter characters in it. It was all straight Marvel characters.
All right.
It fought like
Yeah.
those Street Fighter type games, right? We had that, and we had Spyro, and those I remember fighting with my brother over who got game time for those 2 games. And then high school we got Rock Band. And
Rock
that
Band's
was pretty
great.
much it. So growing up, most of my gameplay has always been some sort of way to be with friends or family. It's never been a singular thing, and I think that's why I actually struggle playing games. Oh, and this is going to lead into Tabby's next question. What do you enjoy most about streaming games to viewers? I think that's why I can't play a singular, like a single player game by myself. I get bored because I'm not interacting with anybody.
Sure.
So I think that's what's been kind of cool about streaming video games is I've been able to open up into this whole library of video games that most of you guys have all grown up playing and have already experienced. But I get to experience it, but it's not a solo playthrough for me. You know,
Sure.
I've got chat that we're hanging out and you know, communities throwing out, like how you threw out the fun facts about Mario. So they're throwing out fun facts, or they're getting to relive it again for the first time through my eyes, kind of a thing. And that's been really cool and very enjoyable, because these are games I would never, like, I keep telling myself I need to go like grind some in Kingdom Hearts so that I can get past some of these bosses. And I'm like, I ain't grinding this in my stuff. I'm gonna go play Final Fantasy. Who plays Kingdom Hearts by themselves? That's silly.
I mean, to be fair, I hate grinding with a passion. That's the one thing. If I don't level up enough to beat a boss, that it will make me stop playing a game. If I can't just
Right?
organically do it, because I get so bored.
I get bored, or then I get mad, and like then I am embarrassed with myself because I'm like, these are not actions and words that you should be saying. Oh my goodness. The whole I don't like being angry, and then all of a sudden I'm angry at a video game. And I'm like, stupid. Go do something else with your time.
Level grinding can be rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
This from the person
But,
who, you know, has grinded for every single mount ever existed.
she's
I
enjoying it,
love
man.
I love getting the mounts. That's worth every single grind that I would have to do. Honestly,
fair.
for like, and then I'm off to the next one
Yep.
as soon as I get it. So.
You just have more patience than we do, obviously.
Yeah.
For now. I'm gonna bug her and be like,
But no, actually,
I would be happy to help.
it's yeah, it's interesting you saying about people reliving their experiences through games whilst watching. Because I definitely found that if I like watching people play, like Final Fantasy 9 is a good example, or like the old school Resident Evils and stuff. Like there was a big thing, we all bullied Prez into playing the Resident Evil remake, like or Resident Evil 1 remake, a while ago, and that's been the only like stream series I have ever made sure I watched every single VOD when I couldn't see them live, and I have watched the entire playthrough and 100% to see, and then I would message him and be like, oh, I just caught up on your VOD, this is what you did, oh, it was so... and you know, because and he was shit at that game, like, but it was really fun to watch and like relive. Like there were bits of it where I was sitting there going, why are you doing this, and like literally shouting at my telly. But it was really
I love to judge.
yeah, but it was really
My friends.
I mean I'd be much nicer to anyone else, but as it was Prez, like, you know, but it was just really fun to rewatch and stuff. So I definitely get that as a aspect. It's really cool.
Yeah. I like to tease my friend John. Elementality
Yeah.
in the chat.
Oh, I mean, isn't that just the point of being there? And his chat is just to wind him up.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, that's always the goal for us to tease him. The earliest game that I can remember playing is probably the Kirby that was on the from 1993. I think that was like what the NES.
Mm-hmm.
At my grandma's house. But I also played Mario Brothers 3. But the first game that I actually had for myself was whenever I was 7. It was Pokemon Yellow.
That's cool.
Aww.
The
I was
first
7 or 8.
The first games I can remember playing were, yeah, the original Super Mario on the NES. Well, actually, I played it on the SNES. It was probably Mario All Stars on the SNES. So it had like the original one, Lost Levels 3 and 2. I remember playing Sonic the Hedgehog, like on the Sega. I remember playing the Disney's Aladdin game on the SNES, and everyone says the Sega version is loads better. I've never played the Sega one, and I always thought the SNES one was really cool. I didn't know there was a difference until I was an adult.
You know, they made that as a handheld,
I did not.
as a self-contained handheld. I didn't know it was a game that was on other platforms. My mom found it at a Goodwill, and it was just this little dinky handheld Aladdin game. And I remember I saw it recently for the Switch, and I had to buy it because I was like, oh my god, that's like my childhood. It's still just as hard on the Switch as it was in the handheld.
Oh yeah, old games are nails. They're really
Wow,
difficult.
man. That's super dope.
I know Game Boy had a lot of games.
But yeah, so like those were, and the Disney's Lion King game on the SNES as well. I remember playing as a kid. But the first game I actually owned, we got like my brother had, I never remember which one was which. We had an Amiga and a Commodore, which are two games consoles nobody have ever heard of. And one of them my brother had, like when we were really little, and all the games were on floppy disks. And I can't tell you what any of the games were called, but we had a really cool one where you were a caveman and it was like a platformer, and I loved it. I played it all the time. But then we got a SNES when I was about 3. My parents got me one because I played games all the time at my babysitters on their SNES and Sega. So they got me a SNES when we were 3 with Donkey Kong Country. That was like the first game I owned. And I was just like, yes, I love this game. It's really cemented me into being a gamer. And I had this huge Donkey Kong poster that came with it in my bedroom. But Donkey Kong's eyes used to glow in the dark, and it was terrifying.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
That is terrifying.
It used to be fine. We'd go to sleep, and then just see these big eyes like on my wall where Donkey Kong was. And it was
He's
like,
watching.
yeah, that was very much it. Which was a bit freaky.
Donkey Kong.
But actually, going back to what we were saying earlier about like gaming moments that are emblazed in my mind, I have this really vivid memory of playing this Mickey Mouse game on the Sega at my babysitter's. I don't remember what the name of the game, but it was some Mickey Mouse thing. The second stage of which was in like an underground mine. And when you get to the end of that stage, you meet the first boss of the game, which is a huge giant spider that like kind of comes down from the ceiling. And the first time I saw it, I screamed really loudly. My babysitter was downstairs at the time, and I was upstairs playing the Sega. She was like, go and do that for an hour. I was about 2 or 3 years old, and she was like, you can just play the Sega for a bit, and I'll check on you in a while, because it was the 90s, and that was how babysitting worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she heard me scream, sort of ran upstairs, and was just like, oh my god, what's wrong? Are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I just got to the boss! Let's go!
That is awesome.
So funny.
But yeah, that was really cool.
I played a lot of Harvest Moon whenever I was growing up.
See, I never played that. I think I can't get into farming sims and things like that, or I guess like Minecraft being sandbox games being the big thing. I need objectives, and I need someone to tell me what to do. Games where they're like, hey, go and do your thing. I'm like, no.
Found how to make money with this farm.
Right. It's like as many people did during the pandemic, Katie got really into Animal Crossing. And she was sort of like, oh, I've been growing these flowers, and I've made this really nice tree like orchard thing, and it looks really nice. I've got this little theme park area here. And I'm like, okay, but look at your diary. Look at all these objectives you haven't ticked off. Why are you not doing these things? And I was just like, I can't play games that just go and do a thing.
I like Animal
That's
Crossing
fair.
too. I played the original back in the day on. Well, actually, America didn't get the original. It was actually on the N64, and it was a different name in Japan. But I played the GameCube version.
Nice.
Loved it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who got into it in the GameCube, but I never sort of really come into contact with it until the Switch, as I'm sure is the case for most people. It's like, as much as the pandemic was awful, I mean, it did amazing wonders for the sales of Animal Crossing and what was it, Fire Emblem Three Houses. Like, it was really good for Nintendo. Like,
Fire Emblem.
like it's like the world is fucked, but Nintendo are doing well. Like,
Yeah. I loved Fire Emblem Three Houses for sure.
I mean, that's another series I've never got into. I've never played a Fire Emblem game, and they're supposed to be very good.
I was like into those this was like before they were cool. The dating sim type games. Like
All right.
whenever I was like early college, late high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like online looking for like games that had like the dating sim type element to it.
Yeah.
And I saw that Fire Emblem Awakening was one of the games like that they recommended. I was like, oh, that seems pretty cool. Maybe I'll give it a try. So I tried it, and I really, really loved the story of that game. It was awesome. And I've liked Fire Emblem ever since.
That's one of the things I really like about the Persona games, is where you can go, it's like, if you want to play Persona, it's like, hey, do you want to go and fight monsters in a dungeon for like the next 5 hours? Or do you want to go and make friends with random people for the next 5 hours? You can do that too. Like, whatever.
It's your choice.
Yeah, like, so many times I've played Persona just to be like, I'm just going to go and make friends with people for a while, just do the social stuff. And that would be my night. And they'd be like, have you progressed the story? It's like, no, but like,
No.
I've made friends with this person. Like, we're like buds now.
I have this much knowledge stat now.
Yeah.
Studying
Yeah, that's it. I've hit the revision hard.
in the game.
He's like, do you know anything in real life? No, not at all.
I like Persona as well.
Mm-hmm. And again, I've played like Persona 3 and 5, and everyone says 4 is the best one, and it was the one I missed. So
3 is my favorite personally.
oh, that's
that I've
alright then.
played. Yeah.
Hey, Ivory, go play Persona.
Okay.
Do it. You'll love
I
it.
do actually recommend that series.
Like,
I do recommend that.
The only issue with like I've tried to say to a few people is like Persona 5 is one of the best games I've ever played. Like genuinely, as far as like the PS4 is concerned, it's top tier. But I would say as a reasonably avid gamer, it took me 124 hours to do. Like it's a big time sink. But it's really good.
No.
Oh, it's yeah. It takes a while.
Mm. And mine was the vanilla version. I've not even played the royal one, which is even longer.
Yeah, that was the one I was playing, and I'm gonna just restart on the Switch eventually. But you know, Final Fantasy 14. So
Yeah, that's it.
never mind.
That's the thing. Like I feel like this will always come back to. It'd be like, have you tried these new games? But Final Fantasy 14.
I mean, they're on
You
my
know it.
shelf.
I actually had to ask my community because I have a very generous community and I love them to pieces for this, but I had to ask them to stop buying me games. Like I had a wish list on Steam for a hot minute. Now I haven't even checked it, so I don't know what's on it. But I had a wish list on Steam at one point because when I first started streaming, my friend who had been streaming longer than me, she was like, "Oh yeah, here's some things you can do." Because people like to help out, and I was like, "This is such a weird concept." Twitch was a whole new weird world for me, and I was like, "Why would people want to buy me a game?" And she's like, "Because they want to watch you play it." I was like, "Why would they want to watch me play a game?" She's like, "Because that's what you do on Twitch."
Yeah.
Whatever. All right, this is fine. You set me up. So, and then people bought me games, and then I already had games that I purchased when they were on sale or whatever. That looked interesting, and I had to tell people to stop buying me games because either A, I would start playing it and I hated it because we still don't know what type of game I like.
Yeah.
And or B, there's just too many now, and I'm like, y'all realize I'm addicted to Final Fantasy now. Like, just stop buying me games. I play Final Fantasy all the time, all the time. And if you want to watch me play something else, don't buy me a game. Don't do anything like that until we finish, because I joke and I say I'm a variety streamer, aka I play Final Fantasy and a game.
Yeah.
So the A game is whatever game that we're getting through on stream, which right now is Kingdom Hearts. So I'm like, until Kingdom Hearts is done, don't even think about another video game for me. Don't even think, oh, it'd be really cool if Ivory played XYZ. No. Because until we finish Kingdom Hearts, we don't know. Is she gonna like it? Is she not gonna like it? Is she gonna play the next one? Is she not gonna play the next one? Are we gonna vote? Are we not? Like, it's like, I can't buy another game. Like, I already feel bad enough. I just got Breath of the Wild, which I am excited to play that one. But I just got Breath of the Wild, and I was like, why are you buying me? I have so many other games I got play. So many other games. And I only ever play anything different if it's on stream. If it's not on stream, I'm playing Final Fantasy. Or I'm watching Hippo play.
I mean, that's fair. That being said, just speaking,
That's understandable.
just speaking of really good games, can I just throw in, like, I've literally just finished this on stream, and I just need to send out a recommendation to you two and anyone else who's watching. But everyone, please go and buy Lost in Random. It's a like really cool indie game, so it's only like 15 quid, so probably like $20 or something. Really, really good. It's like an action combat, so kind of like Kingdom Hearts style. But like, to get weapons to attack with, you have to play cards. To be able to play, so you get to build your own deck, so there's a deck building element. To be able to play the cards, you have to roll dice to see what cards you can play. And to be able to roll dice, you have to get energy off enemies. Which sounds really complicated, but I guarantee you it makes perfect sense when you're playing it. It's really easy. But it
has like an Alice in Wonderland.
Right. The
Tim Burton.
Yes, I was going to say. So the art style is beautiful. It's like, imagine Tim Burton does a Dickensian dystopia.
Yeah.
Right. It's the coolest looking game. All of the characters are so funny and charming. Even when the game is depressingly sad, it's still charming because it got sad at the end. But like, I've just finished this game. It's a 10 out of 10 game as far as I'm concerned. It was incredible. The combat is unique. The art style is beautiful. The characters are so well written. I was really into it and I loved it. And I need there to be a sequel because I need to know more. So everyone needs to go and buy this game. Please. Thanks. Okay, that's my TED talk. Thank you for coming. Don't do that. Someone will buy it for you.
That's fair. How do I favorite this thing?
But yeah, because I saw a trailer for it like 2 years ago or something and was like, oh, that looks really cool. I'll get around to playing that at some point. It's taken me this long, but it was so worth it. And I finished my stream and I didn't have, like, where I finished it, and I was like, I don't have words. Like, just, I've loved it.
Yeah. They might make a sequel. They usually, I feel like indie games normally have sequels.
I don't. Well, I don't know
or at
how.
least the more popular ones.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know how well it's sold, which is why I'm telling everyone to go and buy it. But I don't know how, if it was like true, and it's sort of like a small team worked on it, but like it's got a big publisher. I think it is technically EA or something. So it's kind of it's kind of like on the indie fence, but like, yeah. But it was really cool. I loved it, and I just think everyone should play it.
It has over 2,000 very positive reviews.
Right.
That's good.
One of them isn't me, but I should do a review for it. I've just done one.
You should write one.
Mm.
Oh my God.
But that's really cool. I really like when you finish a game and you're like, oh my god, I must tell everyone to play this. Oh, cat. Hello, cat. Meow.
Yeah, she came. She's needing the Kirby stuffed animal on my lap.
But no, I mean, I did the same when I finished the Guardians of the Galaxy game. Like, I didn't expect that to be anywhere near as good as it was. I mean, like, I thought it would be a good game, but that was also one of the best games I played in like last year.
I did hear that one was pretty good. The Guardians of the Galaxy.
And I had to play it, and I played it on stream, which means I didn't even get all the cool music. I was like, I keep meaning to play it again with the proper soundtrack, where it has like licensed music, because that's sort of very much the feel of Guardians of the Galaxy. But
That's super cool.
Oh, I hear you're forcing people into buying PCs.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You see, this is the thing as well. If I were to play Final Fantasy with you, I'd be doing it on console because I'm a console boy and PCs scare me.
That's okay.
Well,
That's
you
okay,
you know,
I play on console all the time.
you are the first person to tell me that's okay. When I've said to people before, oh yeah, I play Final Fantasy 14, I played it on PlayStation, everyone's like, why? What were you doing?
Okay, then those are legalists. You can leave them over there, and that's okay. They can be there for other needs, but for your Final Fantasy playing, you play this game however you want to play. That's
Right.
the whole beauty of it. The only thing I recommend is eventually finishing the main story so that A, you've gotten through the whole game, and B, you can enjoy the story the way everyone else enjoys the story, because it's awesome. But no, if you want to play on PlayStation, play on PlayStation. One of the guys in our community, who's actually one of Hippo's IRL BFFs, he plays only PlayStation, and he does high-end raid tier content all on controller. And I'm pretty certain that Dustberry still uses a
Incredible.
controller. Yeah. So and he's obnoxiously knows everything about this game.
Yeah.
I say that with love. But yeah, he does everything on controller, and he's incredibly helpful. So like, I know at least with my community, I'm assuming with Sid's as well, but like, you're gonna find overall most people are gonna tell you play the game how you want to play, and play it on whatever system you want to play it on. Like, that's the beauty of this game. It doesn't really have rules. You know, like, you can do it how you want to do it. I can't help you as far as telling you, oh yeah, if you do this, this, and this on the keyboard, it will help your character do X, Y, Z. I'm useless in that respect. However, there's more than enough people who play console. It was initially a console game, if I am correct in
It
that.
was, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
and so it was initially tailored for all of that. So you would be playing it technically correctly if you want to
Wow.
get legalistic, you know.
We tease our
let-
friends that play on controllers, so
Yes, but with love. Again,
yes.
always with love.
But I mean, that is very much my ethos for it. I mean, I don't take much notice when people are like, "Why are you playing on console?" It's like, well, because I've paid money for this console, I'm going to use it. Like,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Exactly.
For sure.
But I mean, I would say very much that's the ethos of how you should play all games, right? Play games in the way that makes you happy. Play them the way you want to play them. If other people tell you otherwise, sure, give their way a go. If you don't like it, go back to playing it your way. Like, do things that you enjoy. Make the most of your time.
Exactly.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's your
no.
time. Like,
You don't have to worry about PC or console.
No.
The game was built for console, and it works on PC. So it's like I'm so used to utilizing my MMO mouse that I think if I try to play on controller, I would be very it would be bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not even gonna attempt controller
Yeah.
for it
Ooh.
for sure.
but I mean, I don't know. Sort of, I know Tabby mentioned this in the chat a while ago. But I imagine being playing Dark Souls on stream and stuff. Did you get a lot of people coming in telling you how to do things? Because Dark Souls is a big one for like backseating in communities and stuff. Did you manage to avoid that? Hopefully you did, but I know that's a lot where people are like, "Oh, you should use this equipment. You should use these skills. You should have this club."
I didn't have anybody come in my stream like that for Dark Souls.
Oh, well, that's good.
Blues helped me here and there whenever I needed like some actual.
It's different if it's like one of your friends and if you actually want
Yeah.
help.
But like he had gotten the game for me,
Sure.
and of course I needed help. But I was playing Oblivion around the same time I was playing Dark Souls. Like, and it was my first time playing Oblivion, and I had like one really like obnoxious random person come in my chat, and like they were pretty rude, and like basically
I was there for that. I remember
kind of
that.
being a little bit
Yeah.
mean. Yeah. So like, I just told them like, hey, look, if you don't like how I'm playing, I'm just chilling and trying like my best here. Like, you can go somewhere else, and they did. So yeah, Blues wanted to ban that dude. A few of my friends wanted to ban that person because they were a little bit too much, but overall, I think that was the only time I've ever had like a really bad backseater type of experience.
Well,
yeah,
that's
they left after I told them, hey, look, you can go somewhere else if you want to judge how I'm playing. I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
You know? Because I try to, mainly with me and streaming, I try to like I'm very low key and I'm just like chilling. Like, you can come hang out kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
That's how I like to keep my streams. Very like just chill, casual.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess that's well the advantage we have in like being smaller streamers is that you're less likely to attract that attention. I mean, like, these chat shows are always my highest viewed things, which is really nice that everyone comes out to when I'm like, hey, I've got friends to show off and be like, look how amazing my friends are, and everyone comes along for it, which is awesome. I really love that. But like, yeah, my normal sort of streams have like anything between like 2 and 6 people, like, is my normal sort of pull in. So I'm very unlikely to attract people who will come in and backseat and be awful and stuff, which are like I guess the sort of normal expected like bad audience members.
I wouldn't be about that.
No,
Backseating.
no, I don't.
Probably not.
It's very much it should be up to the streamer to
Yeah.
do their own thing unless they ask for help or whatever.
Unless you want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to say, as far as consistent backseating, I had, because it was really the first game I played that was like really popular. It actually really helped with my channel growth, which kind of blew me away. But I think it's because we're all just emotional vampires deep down in our souls. But Final Fantasy brought out my first experience with true backseating. and that's when I'm not going to claim it anymore. I was a people pleaser at my core, and not in a good way. Like, would allow other people's displeasure to make me physically ill sometimes, you know? So like, streaming has been a really weird kind of growth in all of that. But Final Fantasy, when I started playing that, like, I realized, oh, this is going to become a problem if we don't stop it. Because I was always like, yeah, I'm always open to tips and tricks and stuff. And then they're like, half the plot. And you're like, what? For triggering. Thank you for spoiling I'm so confused right now.
Yeah.
So I started to actually, thanks to my moderators and some of my friends, like, I just flat out said backseating wasn't allowed. Like, if you do it, I'll ban you, right? Like, it's just not allowed. So a lot of my viewership started coming in more from a sense of like, hey, do you need help right now? Or hey, can I help you? And that was awesome. And then so then I was like, okay, backseating, we got this under control. It's not going to be a big deal. Then I started playing Kingdom Hearts. And that's when I got the worst backseater ever.
Yeah. Again, it's a big franchise everyone knows, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I just didn't understand what was going through this little man's head. God love him. Because he started getting really belligerent, like rude, like, you're not listening to me. You're not doing what I said. You're not this, you're not that. And I'm like, yo, bro, it's my game and it's my stream. Like, chill out.
Yeah.
And finally it got to the point where he was being so rude that I was like, listen, dude, you backseat one more time, I'm going to ban you. And then he did, and my mod banned him. Then he went and proceeded to go through all of my social media, and for about 2 weeks, I had to go through reporting him on multiple different accounts and deleting all of his comments, and they were hateful. Like, he went on my TikTok, and I had a clip of my husband and I on there, and my husband's black. We're a mixed race couple. And he went on there and started talking about how mixed couples are ignorant and started going after my husband, which, you want to bully me, okay, whatever. You bully my husband, and I'm going to become a very awful monster.
Yeah. I mean, there's just no need for it.
Like, oh no, not at all. It was wild, and it was all because I didn't go into a specific cavern in Kingdom Hearts, and I was like, bro, you need a life. Like, you need something else to focus your energy on. Because I'm not kidding you when I say it was like 2 weeks. And I was like, do I need to quit streaming? And I'm like, I'm such a tiny... I can't even imagine what some of these people who bring in thousands of viewers across multiple social media platforms, what kind of wild shit that they deal with on a regular basis.
Yeah, absolutely.
It must be... You know what I mean? And that was just one troll for a 2-week period, you know? And so I'm very, very blessed that 90% of my streaming experience has been pretty backseat
free.
Chill.
That's it.
Yeah, for the most part.
I mean, I guess you always get that, don't you? You look up to, like, what the next level is. Like, I say, like, my streams are pretty little. I would, like, look at your streams over and be like, wow, that's, like, what I aspire to. You probably look at someone, maybe, like, Tabby or something, who you're really close with, but she's got, like, the next, like, step up on like her audience, and you're like, oh man, I wonder what they go through, and I wonder how I get to like that. And then she's probably got someone who's... I don't
even know if I want to get as cool as Tabby yet, to be honest with you.
I mean, that's
And
understandable.
I say that with respect because she puts in a lot of hard work. But I've been in her streams, and I have the pleasure of being able to be a mod for her, and there are days, man, she's a trooper, because there are days where I'm like a little terrier ready to start nipping at heels because some of these people, some of these games, you're just like, yo, bro, like, chill, let the girl and she's a seasoned gamer. Like, this isn't new for her. Sorry, Tabby, if I'm talking about you, but I am talking about she's my little stream senpai. And some of the stuff that she deals with, I'm like, I don't know if I have the ability to handle some of these people who come in.
Absolutely.
That she's able to just brush it off, no sweat.
You
know what I mean?
I mean, I guess you learn it as you sort of grow, don't you? But like, that's what I mean.
That's fair.
It must be, at least when it starts happening, really tough. And then, so like, and her level to me seems huge. But then I'm sure there's people she looks up to, where she's like, wow, like, how do I get to that step? And then the shit that those people must deal with, and it goes on and on and on. Like, I mean, I know when I've been into like sort of people who are like famous from YouTubing and stuff, and like when I first started looking at Twitch and I went to a couple of their streams, and they've got like from the second they go live, there's about 900 to 1,000 people when their streamers up.
You can't even read the chat.
Yeah, well that's it. They don't bother because it's just
Yeah.
not. It's just not a thing you can do. And I sort of think I wouldn't ever want to get that big because I'd really miss the human connection. I think the thing for me that makes Twitches really cool is that I've now got friends on the other side of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I had to explain to work, like, obviously we were originally going to do this yesterday and I had to work. And I was like, you know, I don't mind covering a shift when I need to, but I had to rearrange stuff with people from America, and that's not the easiest thing to do. Like, but it's cool that I can be like, hey, I've got friends in America who I can just be like, hey, do you want to come and hang out and be on my show? And you said yes, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is really cool. You know, well, yeah, but it's really nice when it's used for like a positive thing like this. Like, I remember I absolutely lost my mind the first time, like, someone came into my stream one time when I was playing Resident Evil 4, and they were like, hi, I'm a Japanese guy, and I'm writing a Resident Evil, like, fan manga. And I was like, oh my god, I've never had a Japanese person in my stream before. This is really cool, like...
That is pretty cool.
Right? And, like, the first proper, like, friend I met genuinely through Twitch, as opposed... So, like, it wasn't, like, somebody I already knew, or like somebody I met in a Discord server or anything. Like, they came into my stream and then we got talking and we became like really good friends and stuff. And she lived in South Korea. I mean, she was actually Scottish, but she lived in South Korea. And I was like, I would have never had a hope of meeting you if it wasn't for Twitch. And it is so cool that we got to like hang out and do stuff. And I just think this was like the coolest thing for me about Twitch, is that it doesn't matter where people come from, you can still make a relationship and like be friends. And I don't know.
That's the happy positive side of Twitch.
Yes, I mean obviously there's a lot of shit that can happen to it too, but I like to not focus on that. I mean obviously it happens, and when it does happen, you deal with it. Again, like I say, as a very small Twitch streamer, like, you know, really the kind of the smallest of the small, I'm very lucky that very rarely happens to me.
I don't know if you know this because you keep saying that you're a small streamer, and
I know technically on the speaking, probably in like the top 10% or whatever, because
thank you. Okay.
yeah.
As long as you acknowledge it, that's all I want. As long as you acknowledge it.
I do understand that, and when I say that, I don't ever want to sound ungrateful. I understand if like 4 people come to my stream, those 4 people could be doing literally anything else with their time, and I'm so amazed that those 4 people or whatever turn up. I just like I say, compared to almost everyone I know on Twitch, I am the small person, which is fine.
I just want to make you uncomfortable. That's all I'm saying.
You just want to make me uncomfortable. Okay, that's fine.
Not literally, but like, no, it's hard work to hit that go live button. So I have a handful of friends who are either new to streaming, or they do have, you know, quote unquote lower numbers. But that doesn't mean that you haven't put in the hard work. And my heart always hurts when somebody's like, oh well, I don't have anybody stream to you, and I'm like, no, but you're still doing it and you're putting in that work.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
You know, like, I just never want anybody to ever, I don't know, it's one of those weird like hot button like verbiage that just, I'm like, no, but you're not, but you're awesome. You're doing all the work.
Well,
I
like,
hope you acknowledge that and you know that.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand it's difficult. Like, before I had a child, I was making reasonable growth. Like, but you have to put your priorities elsewhere, right? Like, but
Yeah,
I still try to do what I can. Like, I stream twice a week because that's what I can do. But I've still got a full-time job, and I've got a wife, and I've got a daughter. You know, like, I put in the time I can do, and I'm happy with how things are going. Like, I don't want to sort of sound like I'm belittling myself.
Okay, good. That's all.
Cool.
That's my only concern.
All right.
Because you're awesome, dude. You're
Thanks.
awesome.
I appreciate that. If someone like you says that, it must be true. Like, because like you would know awesome.
I wouldn't lie either.
Well,
I'm not as nice as everybody thinks I am. I'm really not.
I didn't say you were nice. I
If
said you were
give
awesome.
A compliment, it's because I need it. It's
Right.
not because I'm trying to.
I say that all the time. I was like, I'm not a nice person. I'm just honest. Like, if you're a twat, I will tell you. Like, but I think you're great. And then like,
Exactly. It means more if you know I'm not a nice person.
Yeah.
And I tell you you're nice.
exactly. I'm glad there are other people that understand that ethos. So, and I just think I don't have time to pretend to be nice to people that aren't worth it. Like,
It takes too much effort.
Yes, it does. Right, let's move on. So, before we get to the last little bit of the show, we've seen Will had to, again, as I said earlier, what is a chat show without ad breaks? This is the only time I mention it because talking about it makes me really awkward. But I do technically have a throne. If people want to buy things, the link is down there somewhere. I've recently just restocked it with all different children's books because Lyra loves reading, and this is where I basically I found that people are more happy to buy things for Lyra than they are me, so that's what I've mainly been putting on there. But yeah, if anyone ever wants to use it, there's a few games on there that I've said if people buy them they'll stream. Final Fantasy VII OG is on there. As we played Daddish for my I can't even remember what we did. For my 3-year anniversary stream, we played Daddish, which was really stupid and funny, and I loved it. So Daddish 2 is on there and stuff. So there's a few things like that. If people ever want to get anything, it's there. Please don't feel obligated. Please don't buy anything if you're not in a financially stable environment. This is the only time I mention it, once every 2 months on this show. Other than that, I don't talk about my throne because the idea of people buying me things makes me awkward as all hell. But yeah, that's that. Anyway, to finish out the show, I've asked each of my guests to bring along a little story about something that from their life that may be interesting or amusing to all of you people. Who would like to go first and tell their little story? Don't jump at once, it's fine. Go on then, Sid. Go, Sid.
Okay,
Tell us the thing.
so I guess I don't know if I've told this story on here before, but meeting Elementality and Blues. So 7 years ago, I was playing a online game called Forum Online. I don't know, I guess it's sort of an MMO. I'm not sure, but I had met Blues on there first, actually, but I hadn't seen him for a while, and then I ran into John whenever I was farming, and I had this Fire Emblem character name, and we hit it off because of that, because he recognized the name, and we talked about Fire Emblem, and I had him join the guild that I was in at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we would always cut up on there, acting silly, and we just really hit it off. And eventually he's like, yeah, I'm gonna leave the guild or whatever, and I was pretty sad about it because we were playing on there a lot together, and I hadn't seen him for a long time after he left the guild. But then I ran into him again, and I was like, yo. And then he invited me to the guild that he was making with Blues at the time. I was like, yeah, I'll totally join. Because I missed playing with him so much. It was just that much fun to play with. And I didn't realize that I actually met his friend, before I even met him. But then later on, I was like, wait, hold up. Have we met before? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, I can't. But yeah, that's my story. We've been friends ever since, so.
But again, that's really firstly, that's how you know you're a hardcore online person because you talk about guilds. And secondly, but that's the really awesome thing about online gaming is when it brings people together and it creates social networks, and
yeah.
it's really nice when stories like that come out and it's just people are super positive and stuff. So thank you for sharing. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Ivory, what have you got to tell us?
Alright. I was gonna tell a different story, but that made me think of...
You can tell both, it's okay.
No.
No.
I'm not gonna lie, I was struggling with the whole story thing.
That's fair.
So,
Most people say that when they come on this show. They're like, I have no idea what to talk about.
Well, and then I guess I can leave it to like you in chat. I can either tell you more of a Twitch gamer type related story, or I can tell you more of a real life from my childhood type of story that has nothing to do with gaming.
I really don't mind. Both are really interesting to me as far as I'm concerned. It just, like I said, it's just nice to know more about you because I appreciate you as a person, and it's nice.
You could do both if you want.
I said that, but she doesn't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I'll keep it on theme. I'll keep it on theme. So
if it makes you feel any better, my story will be a childhood one.
It doesn't make me feel.
All right then.
All right.
But it's hard for me. This is like the 9th show of these I've done.
That's fair. All right, I'll just do the real life one because I don't think I've told this on the stream, which I know that was something that you.
Yeah, I always say that
preferably
bonus points if you haven't told it on stream.
I don't think I have. I may have. Somebody could correct me. But,
Okay.
So I actually bugged my mom and was like, Mom, I'm like blanking on anything that has ever happened in my life that I haven't already told these people because I've been streaming for 3 years and I tend to be a fairly open book and a lot of weird or silly things has happened in my life. So obviously you talk about it. But so growing up as a kid and even now, I've always kind of suffered with headaches, which it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But so as a small child, I had to have been like, I would have been 6. Yeah. So I was 6 at the time. And the rule in the house was, if you ever need something at night, you don't wake up Dad, you wake up Mom.
Okay.
Because Mom is the one who takes care of you at night. That was just the rule in the house. I didn't know why. We're about to find out, but that was the rule in the house. So I remember I woke up and I had a blinding headache. And, you're small, so you jump out of bed in your little onesie PJs and you run into Mom and Dad's room. And I ran to Mom's side of the bed and she wasn't there. And I was like, oh God, no. That means I have to wake up Dad. I'm not supposed to wake up Dad. I have to wake up Dad as my head hurts. I go to Dad and I wake up my dad and my dad literally sits up and looks at me. And he's like, what's up, baby? And I was like, my head hurts, my head hurts, my head hurts. He goes, okay, baby. He goes, here, take these. And so like a wee child, I put my hand under it. And he goes, whew, and there's nothing there. The man's looking me in the eye. And he like pats me on my head and lays down to go back to bed. And I'm like, what is this? So I start bawling because I'm in pain, and now my father, who's supposed to be like the king of my life, has just mocked me with this fake medicine. And I run into my room sobbing, right? Well, that wakes up my mom, who apparently was on the couch sleeping because she's pregnant with my brother at the time. And she comes into the room and she goes, baby, what's wrong? Why are you crying? I was like, it hurts and Dad tried to give me fake medicine. And she starts laughing, obviously. And she's like, I'll take care of you. She gets me the medicine. Everything's fine. 30 years later, if my dad does anything silly or forgets something or whatever the case, we just go, well, hey, Dad, here, just take these. It'll be fine. So, yeah, that was why you always wake up Mom instead of Dad. Because Mom would actually wake up, and Dad apparently does the whole, like, sleepwalking doodad thing where he seems he's awake and he's actually not.
Dad is very awake and can't be bothered to deal with your nonsense. And she's like, off you pop.
Yep. And he's like, here. No, he slept through the whole thing. My brother once broke his arm, and he crawled into bed with my dad once and ended up hitting him square across the nose with his cast. My dad shoots up in bed, yells some explicitives, and then rolls back over, goes right back to sleep. Next morning, couldn't figure out why he had a headache. And my mom's like, honey, I watched your son, because it was a glow-in-the-dark cast. She's like,
wow.
I watched your son smack you across the face with his cast. That didn't wake you up? He's like, no.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Just on the note of weird things happening while people are asleep. One time when we were teenagers, my parents were away for whatever reason, So not like we didn't have a party or anything, but we had a couple of friends over just for an all-nighter or whatever. So it got to like the early hours of the morning, and one of my friends fell asleep on our couch whilst we were watching like cartoons. And I distinctly remember him, whilst asleep, sitting bolt upright, jazz handing, and then going back to sleep. No idea, like, have no.
Great dream.
Yeah, that's
Great
it.
dream.
Whatever he was dreaming, it was obviously a lot of fun, but yeah, madness. Cool. So yeah, then to finish off, I will tell you a story from my childhood. I sort of said about, much like you were umming and ahhing on which story to tell, I was like that on the last episode, so I ended up telling the fun, happy story last time, so I said I'd tell you the maybe slightly surprising story this time. So, as an adult, I like to sort of think of myself as a very chilled out person. So I like to sort of very much put forward like a chilled atmosphere, and like things don't faze me very much. I try not to be stressed or angry whenever I can. This is why, if any people who saw it, there was that one Biomutant stream that I'm very not proud of because I was in a very bad headspace. But by and large, I'd like to think people see me as a chilled person. As a child, this was not the case. I had the worst temper. I was such an angry child, very quick to be violent, or like, the fights I got into my brother from talking to other people with siblings sounds like the fights we got into were significantly worse than what is a normal thing for siblings to fight. Like, I know he's still got a scar on his shoulder from where I bit him when I was like 6. Like we were proper horrible to each other as kids. One of the most famous examples of this and like maybe the real biggest boiling point my temper has ever got to when we were younger is we had been arguing about something. I don't know what, it doesn't really matter at this point, but we were having an argument, and it elevated for various reasons, and to kind of try and diffuse the situation a bit, my brother, being the older one, took it upon himself to lock me out, so I was stuck in our back garden, and he would sort of be like, right, you chill out, when you're more normal you can come back inside. What I actually did was I grabbed a nearby skateboard and I smashed our back door.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, like, because our back door had 2 big panes of glass in it at the time, and I put a skateboard through one of them. And that was one of those.
Oh, no.
Yeah, when you get like moments, I think as an adult it would probably be, when you're drunk and then something happens and it instantly sobers everything. Like, yeah. Well, it was like that, but for the child version. Like I sort of put a skateboard through the back door, and then we all went, right, let's stop fighting, and everything needs to be calm now. This has gone too far. Like.
Yeah.
And like one of my friends was over at the time, and I remember like we just went back inside and all 3 of us sat down and really nicely played a game together until my parents got home, and to which point they found the back door and were like, what the fuck happened here? Rightly so. And I was just like, yeah. So sort of smashed it with a skateboard. And I remember, yeah, like, so ever since I was born, my granddad had like started a savings account for me. So when I turned 18, I'd have some money to start my adult life with. And I remember they took the money to fix the back door out of that account because they were like, even as a child, you need to understand that you have to pay for this.
Actions bear consequence.
That's it. So, yeah, I mean, at least they told me they did. I'm not sure if they actually did or if they paid for it themselves, but they very much made me feel like I was paying for it. But yeah, so like I say, although I try and be a very chilled and sort of mellowed adult, I was a very hot-headed child, and I once smashed our back door with a skateboard. Is kind of one of the biggest things. The other kind of quite big fight or event that's famous in our family, which me and my brother dispute to this day of what actually happened. It is a very semantical difference. But when he was about 5, so I would have been 2 or 3, so my side of the story is we were having a fight and he kicked me and I fell over, and it's not like this was his intention, But it just so happened that as I fell over, I put my head through our fish tank. You know, he would say he tried to kick me and missed, and I just happened to fall over and put my head through a fish tank. You know, which is, I think, a semantical difference. But it was very, you know, again, it was a very similar thing. We were having a fight. I smashed a fish tank with my head. Somehow didn't have a scratch on me, was perfectly fine. Miracle to this day. But we were then surrounded by broken glass, water, and fish. And had to be like, call upstairs to our mum and be like, so mum, the fish tank's broken. So, yeah.
At least you were okay, though.
Yeah, well, that's it. It was a really weird thing. We have no idea how... I mean, I was obviously very lucky that I didn't get any glass in my head or anything. But, and I know you say poor fishies. Mum managed to save half of them, if that makes you feel any better.
Oh,
She
what
took...
a nightingale.
Yeah, she took them to a local pet shop and just the ones she managed to get back in water in time. But, yeah.
That's actually pretty cool.
But yeah, so those are two. I mean, there were, like I say, several other horrible fights that me and my brother had, but those are like the two really famous ones in our family. Is the time that I broke a fish tank and the time that I broke a back door.
That is surprising because you are probably one of the most chill people I think I've ever met.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So I thought people would be really surprised to know that I was a really angry child.
You got it all out in your younger years.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think by the time I was like a teenager, I was like, you know what, this isn't healthy. And generally now I'm only sort of angry when like my diabetes is playing up. Like bad blood sugar can make you really have like violent mood swings. So, and I put that down to being chronically ill, which is stressful for anyone. So, but generally speaking, I'm quite a chill person, I think, as an adult, or at least try to be. But wasn't always the case.
I think you're pretty chill.
Thanks. Cool. Right. So yeah. All I want to say now is thank you everyone who's come by to watch the show. These chat shows really are like my big thing that I love doing on Twitch more than any other streams and stuff. I love showing off my friends and being like, these people are amazing. Please love them as much as I do. So thank you everyone who's come by to watch. It really means a lot to me. And thank you so much, Ivory and Sid, for being here.
Yeah, of course. It was great.
Yeah. Please.
It was nice to meet Ivory.
Yeah. Right. This is the other thing I really love about this show is when the guests don't know each other and then they become friends, and then it's just like.
Yeah, we're not Final Fantasy for sure.
That's it. You know, you're gonna be the new Lala Bun Girl team that are gonna be. You know, I hope you realise though the first time you sign in, Sid's gonna rock up on some ridiculous mount and be like, "Hey."
I'm so for it. I'm so for
Check
it.
out my mount.
That's it. She's gonna be like, check out this one and the other 700 I have, and then
I'm okay with it.
I wish I had that one.
and then she's gonna be like, no, I'm gonna show you how to get all of them, and that will be the next year of your life.
Yes.
Enjoyed the stream.
Okay
Thank you. The last thing I would like you to do is if you could please like each spend a moment telling everyone what you're streaming, when you're next streaming, how can they find you, because you guys are amazing and you deserve shout outs too.
Oh, thank you.
So I mean,
yeah, next stream is Tuesday. Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. I think that's what it is. I'm in Arizona. We don't have time changes, so the whole time zone thing is like it's Greek to me. I don't understand it. Latin, whatever. But yeah, so 7. I
don't know why that sorry, I don't know why that shout out didn't work.
Oh, it's all good. Oh, it's Gayle.
Oh, that'll be why. Gayle.
It's fancy. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. We're kind of on a Kingdom Hearts binge right now, so not even a whole lot of 14 because most of the content for 14 I'm all caught up on. So yeah, Kingdom Hearts, and then I'm looking at adding a Friday afternoon, like late morning, early afternoon art stream because I am an artist.
Your ice cream thing you did the other day was amazing, and it's so adorable.
My little unicorn.
Yeah.
A little unicorn. Yeah, it's a little unicorn ice cream cone. Yeah, I do that. I'm actually really I won't say bad. I'm really uneducated in digital art, so I'm trying to get better. My comfort zone is actually traditional paint. So I normally paint acrylic on canvas, but definitely gonna look at
Oh my god!
trying to get a little more comfortable with digital. So
Have you ever done an acrylic, like canvas painting on stream?
I have, and it's a struggle for me because I'm so. I try honestly. Even this was a little bit of a struggle trying. I'm so chat oriented when I go live,
Hmm.
that sometimes it's hard for me to try to divert that focus.
Sure.
Um, and so and I'm also very self conscious when it comes to my art.
Hmm.
So it's been very difficult for me to stream it live, but I have a lot of people who keep asking me for it, so I want to kind of try to overcome that.
Yeah.
So definitely going to have some pieces. I just don't have anything prepped at the moment. So we do digital until I have a canvas prepped, and then we'll do canvas. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Very exciting. Sip.
My next stream will be probably Thursday, and it'll probably be Final Fantasy 14 because I'm trying to get through P9S, which is like the first boss in the current
Yay.
tier. So that's probably what I'll be doing. But if not, I've also been playing some Tears of the Kingdom lately, and I really should get back to Dark Souls soon. So, but yeah,
Awesome.
the new update came out for Final Fantasy 14, so I've kind of been focused on that, trying to beat different bosses and stuff.
Nice.
That's what I've been doing with friends.
I
Awesome.
think that's what my husband's doing right now, actually.
Amazing.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
That's
Just
what I'm gonna do right after this is done. I'm gonna try to
That's
fight that
awesome.
boss with my friend.
just a random thing that I meant to ask you earlier. Do you ever like struggle calling Hippo in real life? Like, or do you not? I assume you don't call him that in real life because you know his real name.
Oh no, we totally do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he Ivory's not technically my legal name, but it is. I prefer to go by it.
Right.
So he calls me Ivory, which I think weirds out my family a little bit. Because he tried to switch between the two of them, and then he would, you know, maybe drink a little too much on a community night, and he'd drop my legal name, and so he just stopped calling me by my legal name altogether. He calls me Ivory.
Yeah.
And then poor dude, I call him Hippo, Jay, Jordan, because he doesn't care about his name. So I'm like, I call him everything. And people are like, wait, so is it Jay? Is it Jordan? Are you like calling him Hippo? Is that a mean term? Is that a endearment? I'm confused. And I'm like, oh, sorry, yeah. No, so and I'll call him Hippo when we're out and about, and people look at me funny, and I'm like, no, it's his screen name, it's his user, it's whatever. But it's funny because we hang out with a lot of our gamer friends, like,
Yeah.
in real life, and so we just call each other by our gamer tags.
Sure.
And it's hysterical because I remember one of my mods. He lives in like not the Midwest. I don't know. He's not quite East Coast. He's in that whole Tornado Alley area where.
I don't understand America, but I mean I don't know the
It's
geography of
fine,
my
yeah,
country,
he's
so
not here.
yeah.
But so every year for his birthday he comes out. Well, his birthday fell on Easter this year, and so I gave him some crap for that, and I said as long as you don't mind having Easter supper with my family, like we're not gonna do any crazy mass or anything like that. And he's like yeah, that's fine. So he came over, and my mom was so cute. She was like, what do I call him? And I was like, just call him Kaiser, Mom. Just call him Kaiser. It's fine. She's like, well, I only know him as Kaiser because that's his gamer tag. And she's like, is that weird? And I was like, no, Mom, it's not weird. And she's like, okay, so I'll call him Kaiser. I was like, yes, Mom, it's okay. She's like, he can call me Proud Mama Penguin if he wants. And I was like, I'll call you by your name, Mom. It's okay. Like, okay. So yeah, we interchange them all the time, and it really throws people off.
Awesome. Sorry, I didn't mean to backtrack.
That's cute.
I know we.
Yeah, it's fine, you know, and it's funny too because he's like, I don't know why, but we've totally leaned into like our weird animal obsession. So like, people have sent him hippo plushies. He's gotten hippo plushies now for like Christmas presents, and then obviously I got penguin crap everywhere. So it's pretty cute how he's like really leaned into it, and I really appreciate that of him.
Awesome. Cool. As for me, I will next be live on Saturday. I won't have a Sunday stream next week because I am going to see Penn and Teller, which will be really awesome. But yeah, so I will be next live Saturday. I'm supposed to be doing something with Prez and Hal, but organising those two is not the easiest. Prez especially. But so if I'm not, I will be doing something on my playing a game of some sort. But hopefully I'll be doing something with those two next week, and then after that it'll be back to normal Saturday and Sundays, around 9 or 10 p.m. UK time as the time to start. If people,
you say Prez, you mean Prez of the Castle?
I do mean Prez of the Castle.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I wrote
Prez
his.
is awesome.
Yeah, I wrote his theme tune. That was fun.
Aww.
I don't know if you knew. Yeah, I actually wrote a whole album for Prez recently. That was when one of those things when when you say something as a joke and then your life spirals out of control. And I ended up writing an entire album of songs about Prez.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, it was really silly. Yeah. I'm more excited about the fact I'm working on a proper album of real songs, so it's actually being produced and excited, and I'm really excited for that at the moment. But
That's awesome.
that's something that will come soon. Hopefully, have stuff to share and things. We've got 4 tracks at demo level, and I'm working on a 15-track album by the end of the year.
That's super exciting.
It is super
That
exciting,
is.
and it will be
Congrats on that.
yeah, it will be like mostly pop punk music with a little bit of like sort of emo and ska and like metal mixed in, but mostly pop punk stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really fun. So yeah, those are all the things we're doing. If people want my socials, here they are. You can follow on Twitter to get updated on what I'm up to. You can check out past VODs on the YouTubes. It's almost up to date, which is exciting because I let it slip for a little while. Or you can join the Discord if you want to chat in between streams. If you set your role as Sloths, you get to see what I do with my little area of the Discord. Like I say, I will be adding Sydney's Gale cocktail into the bar after we finish stream with a nice twinkly picture. And if you set your role for live notifications, you get to see when me and all the other cool streamers in the Nerdy Castle go live. I've really loved having you guys on the show. Thank you again so much. And thank you again everyone who's watched and for all the follows, and Claire for the raid. Really appreciate it. All that's left for me to say for now is bye. And remember, spread the wholesome.
Bye, everybody.
Oh no, wait, shit. I'm not going to say bye because we should raid somebody and I almost didn't raid. I so almost pushed send. That was... Whoa. My god. I don't even... let's go raid Emmy because she's really cool. And I know the cameras die when I change window. God, that almost happened. I'm going to get it on my phone so I can... Sorry, now we've already said byes and signed off, and now it's just an awkward space at the end.
Sorry.
Yeah, everyone sit solemnly.
My cat keeps coming to me for attention. So.
Sweet kitty baby.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go raid
And my other one's sleeping.
my friend Emmy. She does really just chilled, relaxed streams. She's playing House Flipper at the moment, so she'll just chat about whatever you want to talk about while she's building a house. Here's the raid and sub raid message, depending on whether or not you are subbed. If you want to chuck that in the chat, but if you want to say your own version of hey, how are you, or if you wanted to carry on lurking, that is perfectly valid and acceptable. Please don't feel obligated or anything. But yeah, if you want to come and see a really chill streamer, then come along and see Emmy. Now I'm going to say bye. Spread the wholesome. I'll catch you soon. Bye, everyone.
Awesome. Yeah, this was